Hello, and welcome to the SaladCast Happy Salad's third annual Game of the Year Awards, awarded yearly on a year-by-year basis. It's just after Christmas, sometime. Don't know what day after Christmas, several days. It's been Boxing Day, and then another day, and then this is another day after that, but it's not New Year.
I think it's the 28th.
It's Crimbo Limbo Day.
Yeah, 28th the day. It is the 28th. On a Friday. What's a Friday? Wow.
I knew. So, yes, we've got a lot to get through, I guess. So, no random chatter this time. Let's get... none of our usual sections. This is a special podcast with our crazy awards.
Made with goat.
So, Award Master Rob with the list. Award Master Rob, better start us off.
Right, I guess we should caveat everything before we go that these awards cannot include. Yeah, spoiler alert potentially, and
maybe
these. Well, there are certain games that we can't include in our awards for the most part. Where we haven't actually played them, so it's not exactly right of us to factor them in. No,
this is our game of the year.
Yeah, so, it's only what we could have got round to. So the games...
It's not what we could have got round to, it's what we did get round to.
Yeah, exactly.
What we could have got round to is theoretically everything.
So I should mention the games that we won't talk about, I guess, just to sort of say that this is why we're not including them in the awards.
Okay.
So, in this list of note are Assassin's Creed 3, Sonic & Sega's Racing Transformed, Spec Ops, Trials Evolution, Dust and Elysian Tale, Journey, Walking Dead, Final Fantasy 13-2, Need for Speed Most Wanted, any sports game, the World of Warcraft expansion Pandaria thing, Dishonored, Hitman Absolution, and anything to do with the Wii U.
And all the rest of this shit I've written down that I'm not going to read out.
Bearing in mind, you've got some Walking Dead content coming your way, because we've at least two of us have got that for Christmas, so we'll be...
Yes, Walking Dead we will talk about in the new year. Dust and Elysian Tale we will talk about in the new year.
Indeed.
I'll probably get around to playing 13-2 at some point, because I'm in an RPG sort of mood of late.
And one of us will probably eventually play Assassin's Creed one day.
Yeah,
I think you've had enough Assassin's Creed on this podcast to last your lifetime, so...
there will be more.
There will probably be more.
At least 2 games more, because none of us have played Revelations yet.
No.
Assassin's Creed fatigue set in.
Our laziest sequel of the year, 2012, was it?
I
think it
might have been, yeah.
Right, okay.
So we won't talk about those.
Or we might, in some cases.
And also, let's start with the housekeeping then, I guess, which is the 2011 game of 2012.
Indeed.
That's the best game of last year that we played this year.
Nominations,
nominations though.
No, there aren't many. We're sort of...
We're playing new games.
Or older.
Or older than 2011.
So I've only got 2 nominees for myself, because they're games I actually played, which are Burnout Crash and Saints Row the Third.
Sacrilegious.
The only other one I could come up with was Binding of Isaac, I guess.
Okay. So, what are your feelings?
See, I'm sort of torn on this one, because Saints Row is a hell of a game. But then Burnout Crash is so ridiculous.
Dr. B.
Won't you help me, Dr. B? Gold!
Well, I have to say, I discounted Burnout Crash. I'm not sure why. Did it not get good reviews or something? I'm a bit confused.
Well received.
I thought it looked really quite fun.
It is quite fun.
Like, I saw you play it. It looked pretty epic.
It's just mental.
Yeah, okay.
Love the monster.
How come you only got around to it this year?
Waiting for a sale.
Yeah, because Rob doesn't like to spend money.
My usual plan. Yeah.
No one likes to spend money when they can help it.
It's very rare that
I don't know if waiting for an Xbox sale is you can help it, because they're so sort of infrequent for the things you want.
That's true.
Well, it's not like the Steam one, where it's like you can help it. You can wait until Christmas, and then you're almost guaranteed to save money on something you want.
That's true.
Well, let me put it this way. It's more like the Xbox doesn't really have that many sales, and the sales are a benefit that gold members get. And it's like, if I'm paying for this fucking service, I'm going to get my money's worth out of it, which means wait for the sales.
Indeed.
Which are rare and most often crap.
Never buy res, because it's never going to go on sale.
God damn it.
So we're thinking our 2011 game of this year will be Burnout Crash.
Maybe. But then the Saints Row. It drops
It's that Saints Row got plenty of awards last year. Sort of.
Well, is that how we're basing it? Like we can't award it because everyone else awarded it last year or something.
Probably.
No. Don't see why not. Saints Row can totally be in it.
It was a hell of a game, but it's not one of those. It's weird.
Are you done with it now?
Yeah, I finished it, and since I finished the main campaign, I've not really had the desire to go back to it. Like I originally thought, well, maybe I'll go back to it and play it for a bit as a zombie. Just to hear what the voice acting is like. But I haven't. I think I exhausted what I wanted to do with that world. Which is a bit of a shame. So it's a tough beat. Oh, fuck it. Let's go. Yeah, I think Burnout Crash.
Burnout Crash!
Because of consensus, I guess.
Check it out. And
neither of you guys seem that fussed about Saints Row. And Burnout Crash seems to have garnered more attention, so by that logic.
I don't know. Saints Row, look, it's kind of cool, but I don't know. It just seems a bit. I don't know. For me, I don't know if I like open world stuff, so I'm more attracted by I know it's the ridiculousness that's what's
absolutely. That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the draw.
It's a shame THQ are in trouble, but hopefully they'll get out of it with their Humble bundles and shit.
Yeah, go buy Saints Row.
And get tons of other stuff as well for free, probably.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's finished now, isn't it? The THQ bundle, but
that's a pretty good sales on, I expect. In the
they'll keep doing this. It seems to be working for them.
Well, they have to. Indeed,
it seems to be working. So, 2011 game of 2012 is Burnout Crash.
Burnout Crash,
highly recommended.
Talk to me.
Lobster Monster.
You still haven't seen the Lobster Monster?
I still haven't seen the Lobster Monster, no, but I think it's in the last area. So, and I think I saw a screenshot of it online.
Next category.
I don't know quite how to split this up exactly, so I'm just going to, normally I used to go sort of good category, bad category, good category, bad category, but I'm just going to go down the list in which I've written shit down.
I don't think we ever had enough bad categories to really do that, though.
I think actually one year we had more bad categories than we had good.
Or the first year.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Anyway. The next award for the Game of the Year 2012 is the best game that hasn't really come out yet.
Not actually an award, really.
Nominees are
Don't Starve and Kerbal Space Program.
Wasn't there another one?
Well, we thought about adding Dust 514 because it's in beta, really.
Yeah, I guess.
But I don't think it deserves it. Yet.
I guess if there was any kind of expansions that came out this year, you could add them to that list. I don't know, if we wanted to... if we cared about any of the expansions that came out this year, I don't know, any of the Battlefield 3 ones or the World of Warcraft, they'd all go on this list, because they're not actually games, they're just things that came out.
I think that's a separate thing from a best category that's not really out. That's best expansion, but we haven't really...
We haven't got that category.
No, because we don't do DLC that much.
So you might as well put them in there.
No. Well, we haven't played them anyway, so how can we judge them?
And there was the Eve ones, of course, but those have all been distinctly non-events this year, unlike last year.
They're not really expansions, I guess, are they? Those things? They're just sort of...
Sometimes they're more expansion-y than others.
Yeah, but things just keep evolving with Eve on a steady basis. They occasionally give them names, but they don't really sell them.
Well, no, because they don't sell expansions, because that's their whole scheme. You pay more per month, but then you never pay for the expansions, unlike World of Warcraft or whatever. That's the way it's always been.
I guess, but it's hard to say that there's a saleable item there. By that logic, it's not really a separate thing, it's just the game. In their case,
I expect if they packaged up the amount of content they put out in those in a year into one thing, then they probably could sell it if they were working on that plan.
If you're playing World of Warcraft, you have to buy every expansion pack now to just get in the game.
No,
or do they release special starter packs? Or
I don't think you need to buy. You don't need to consume the content. You can just keep playing on the old content, I think.
But what happened when Apocalypse?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Or no, Cataclysm. That's it.
I thought they heavily patched the game, and then so everyone got it. But then I don't know how that worked. Can't remember. Anyway,
they just added new areas that were because they redid the whole world, but that was one big patch,
and everyone got the redid world.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the new stuff was still just separate areas.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think this can only really go to Kerbal.
Probably.
Kerbal is pretty awesome, especially with the new patch and stuff. It's quite a lot cleaned up.
Yeah.
Comparatively to when I first saw it.
Is it still alpha?
And it's quite fun.
Well, if you want to call it alpha, I mean, it is technically, but I mean, what the hell does that even mean now?
You pay money for it.
Yeah, in this case, it's more like a paid beta, isn't it? But
that shouldn't exist. Paid beta. Anyway.
Well, it depends, really, doesn't it? If you've paid for it and you're still getting enjoyment out of what you've played so far, which in Kerbal's case is actually a relatively solid package, regardless of where they're going with it.
Yeah, it's like, it doesn't feel like it should be 0.18.
Yeah. It's at least close to full. It's like Minecraft was for all those years, wasn't it, really? After a while, it was actually, you know what, this is actually pretty fully featured at this point.
Yeah, I guess Minecraft did at one point where Minecraft sort of had the same thing where it's like, it'd been a really low version of it for ages, and it's like, just like, actually this is sort of near release, let's just wrap that up.
Let's just make this a
Let's
one.
make it look a bit better.
Yeah.
I go up to like 0.8 and 0.9 and then release it.
And then everyone can go, best game ever! Like, officially, for some reason.
Yep.
Minecraft. Fuck you guys.
So the winner is...
Kerbal Space Program! Clap, 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 clap.
Check it out.
It's pretty good. And it keeps getting better.
Can't get it on Steam though, go.
Well, you can link it to Steam. Oh.
Yeah, that never counts. They need to... I suppose when it gets properly released, maybe Steam will get interested.
Well, that's true. Because it is a paid alpha or beta or whatever.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
But
I think Steam have a certain limit of like how much of a game that has to exist in a game for it to be on there.
Maybe, but then again, Steam, you can pay for an early access key to Dota 2.
Yeah, but that's their own game.
Yeah,
they're allowed to do whatever the shit they want.
No, but they're not. They don't usually.
And Dota 2 is almost finished anyway, and it's been almost finished for practically the whole year.
But it's still not out, and yet you're paying for access to a beta. It's like if you can do that for that, then they should be able to do that for Kerbal.
Was that not on this list, Dota 2?
I actually haven't played it.
Alright, fair enough. Cool.
We
Okay.
can't judge.
It's probably good.
Alright, moving on to the best aesthetic or artistic graphics.
Ooh.
I have a number of choices here, a couple of which we haven't technically played, but I've seen quite a bit of footage of, or went and looked at a bit more of it in preparation for this. We had in some entries last year for this that none of us had actually really played as well, like Rayman on El Shaddai, things like that. So, the nominations that I'm presenting to you are The Unfinished Swan on PSN, Dust and Elysian Tale on Xblar, Fez also on Xblar, Guild Wars 2 for the PC, for its painterly aspect, and Journey for being entirely orange.
Obviously.
Your thoughts?
Any to add?
Wait, which category is this? Are we doing both of them or just one of them?
This is aesthetic for now.
Aesthetic art style.
Right.
Te pretties rather than, man, that is pushing some serious pixels.
I don't know. I think there's any other ones in particular that I can think of for aestheticness.
Yeah, tends to be the India games.
There is a couple of other thoughts, I suppose, on that front. I mean, Closure it seems to be coming up a lot this year in terms of the aesthetic thing, with its hand-drawn, stark black and whiteness. That's the game where you have to manipulate the light, and things only exist when they're in light.
Closure.
It kind of sticks to its premise fairly closely, but I'm not sure it doesn't, it's clever, but it doesn't stand out to me as like, hey, that's pretty, that's a wow factor thing.
Right.
And that's partly where I go for my aesthetic thing, that it's generally just got to be consistently awesome throughout. Which is why, I don't know, how familiar are you with The Unfinished Swan?
Not at all.
No, really? Because that looks really cool. It's like, it starts out completely stark white, and the only way you can see is by throwing paint into the world, and it creates like paint splats on walls and things, and you start to reveal the world around you.
Yeah.
And how to handle it. And then as it goes on, sort of extra aspects start getting added, like shadow, but it maintains this consistent, like, super stark look, and with a bit of paint splashed in.
Yeah.
It's a really cool style.
I didn't really see any of it after. Well, I don't think when I saw it, I even saw any further than just the very start with the paint. I didn't see what the was, because it's like that didn't seem like much of a game at that point, because there didn't seem to be anything to it. But then obviously there was actually more of a game there. I just never bothered to pay attention.
It's an evolving thing. The way that game looks, it never goes full on like super high quality texture maps and all that kind of stuff. It keeps its look throughout, which was nice. Dust and Elysian Tale has to be noted for the sheer, one-man drill. All that.
I don't think that makes it good though, necessarily.
It does look damn pretty, and the animation looks pretty fluid, and it's astonishing that it was done by one guy. It truly is.
What was done by one guy?
Dust, Elysian Tale.
Oh, right.
The graphics and the game, and it's pretty much all one dude. And it's like, the
I suppose the
one
fact that it's one
guy,
dude, shouldn't make it.
No.
Heavy,
but it's
still.
the fact that it's the fact that it actually is a really pretty game,
and it was
done by one guy is just unbelievable. Fez has to be here for its uncompromising, super awesome pixel art stylings throughout. It's hard to single out Fez for its graphics alone, though. The thing that made Fez was everything. Everything comes together. It's not just the art. It's not just the aesthetic. It's not just the subtlety of the where the clues and things are actually placed in the same art style and all that stuff. It's the whole package, the way it feels, the way it plays, the mechanics, and of course the soundtrack. Yeah. So that's a hard one to separate out as just aesthetic art, but it's quality.
Quite distinctive. Just the art, even it's quite distinctive. But I don't know if it's will beat all those other entries. I have to say, Guild Wars 2 looked quite nice.
Guild Wars 2 is nice.
It's not just just World of Warcraft again. They've got something special.
They've definitely tried to separate themselves with their splash of paint look, which doesn't just pervade the cutscenes and all. It's in all the menus, and the way that the menus even appear is sort of swoopy and a bit splattery in places. There's certain ways that it skews the way things appear is quite nice.
A few games
the
have
map
done
is quite sort of painty.
I like the map. The map's cool. A few games have done painty stuff like Okami and stuff in the past.
Yeah,
but not. I don't know.
Okami's probably a better example.
Yeah,
of
that was amazing.
Because they went full on with that.
I had an HD version come out this year, but it still looks like a PS2 game, unfortunately. But it's awesome looking.
Yeah, it's a great looking thing. I think the resolution update will make it slightly clearer than it.
Yeah, it was
probably was. It suffered a little bit, I think, back in the Wii and the PS2 era, just because of it's a bit blurry.
So, what are your leanings on this category? Cause
we haven't mentioned Journey yet either, really, in any detail. Okay. But again, hard one to judge because we haven't really played it.
It looked really cool.
But it is again one of these games that keeps its look consistent throughout the whole thing. And again, the whole aesthetic is tied to not just the art; it's about sound and about the interaction as much as it is just the look. So there.
Yeah.
I don't know where I lean on this one, to be honest, because they're all great entries. Personally, so I'm not sure we can give it to Journey out of not playing, but it's worth mentioning.
Definitely worth mentioning.
Highly worth mentioning. Guild Wars, I'm impressed by it, but the world is almost too clean cut in places. It's very pretty and very they've gone super saturated on the colour palette and things, and it looks nice, but the actual world isn't really part of that paint aesthetic, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, kind of.
Even if the characters do kind of animate kind of goofily in certain ways, and especially the Asura.
Well, yeah.
They were awesome. It's pretty cool. I think it's a toss-up between Fez and Dust, personally, unless you guys have got some other more just aesthetic things. Oh, actually, I suppose we can add Splice to this.
That's okay.
Yeah, I guess.
The aesthetics. Well, I don't know. The aesthetics really nice in that. It's like, again, it's like, I suppose it's how you make your puzzle game stand out is to have a really cool look to it, and that definitely does with its through the microscope, grainy, yet highly scientific look.
Highly scientific.
Yeah, fake science, CSI science.
Yeah.
Or do you say between Dust and Fez in terms of the graphics there?
Well, we can't give it to Dust because we haven't played it. It's the rule.
Okay.
Okay, so by default,
it has to go category.
It has to go to Fez.
Congratulations, Fez, and
takes a lot of awesomeness and the fuck end sequence.
I don't know if that was awesome aesthetic graphic. Really.
No, probably not. But
it's just like crazy shit.
Yeah, it's just fuck.
The rotate effect is pretty cool. You have to admit, that's kind of part of it.
It is not. There's some good science there, but I suppose that would be more the rotatiness and the the Trixel engine would be if we were to give it technical graphics. It would fall into the next category,
which is
best graphics technical.
Nobody's are.
Who managed to squeeze the most awesomeness out of the hardware it was running on, or generally just made it look pretty. So I've only really got 2 nominees for this because I'm not sure it's really been a boundary pushing year.
Yeah, people have been stuck on the consoles. Nothing amazing came out on from Naughty Dog on PS3 because we're waiting for
The Last of Us is next year.
So it's left to the first party dev on the Xbox, and there's only really one of those, Microsoft.
Yeah. Well, Halo 4 I thought was really super impressive. Just with what they've managed to get the Xbox to do, it's kind of catching up with the top tier PlayStation titles.
Exactly. It was impressive, actually. Halo 4 looks... I mean, some of the
animation is a bit off. Like classically, some of the faces are a bit funny looking. But I like Del Rio.
They're not better than they've ever been before.
Oh yeah, they've been better. They're much better than they've ever been. And Del Rio looks pretty cool. I like his facial animations more than Lasky. Lasky is probably the weakest, annoyingly, and you see him quite a bit.
My only real problem
looked nice. Her facial animation was subtle and well done, and the world looks great. And the upped resolution or apparent sharpness of the world. I think it may be the same as Reach in terms of its actual render res.
Yeah, but I mean, it almost feels like it does look cool, but it almost feels like they've shoveled on as much like lighting effects as they possibly could, or whatever.
Well, maybe, but it's good at it. Yeah, in the early stages of the game, especially, it's Bloom Central.
It's like a pretty girl that's like, but a bit too much makeup on, like just a bit too much, like a bit crazy with the eyeshadow or something. Well, it's got a bit far.
And yeah, as I say, I'm not basing this really on the first level where it is just every light just goes shing across the entire width of the
I have another category actually.
Best use of bloom.
No, most bloomy bloom game.
Most bloomy bloom.
It goes between Halo 4 and Mass Effect 3, I think. Although Mass Effect 3, like when you're running towards the Reaper at the end, that is bloomy bloom city when it's like blasting shit.
Yeah, but then it lights the
In
entire
fact, all
world
of London
white.
is like basically Bloom City.
Bloomtown.
Yeah.
Welcome to Bloomtown. Population, Bloom.
Which was really effective, actually, isn't it?
It was really good.
It's like, it felt like a horrible place to be. Like, the lights, my eyes, I can't see.
Yeah, when something shoots and it just goes, bro, and everything lights up bright white.
Yeah, constantly. Anyway, so...
That was pretty cool.
Mass Effect 3 graphics, they were fine. They were improvement on 2, but they weren't, like, top.
They weren't mind-blowing.
Things.
No, they weren't really pushing what they did with 2. Really. I mean, some of the things that have always been a bit off for me with Mass Effect have been like when things sort of splatter. I don't know, there's a sort of like bleh sort of effect that sort of just disappears.
Some of the backgroundy stuff was pretty cool. Like you're in basically a trench, like a level. Like there's nowhere where you can go, but there are like fucking Reapers like clambering around on the moon.
Yeah, and the skybox. Looking up at Palaven with all the Reapers actually flying around.
That's the one I mean.
The battle going on was pretty cool.
No, that's all right. But yeah, I don't know if that's technically hard anymore.
No, it's
just an improvement on.
No, exactly. In actual fact, that's one of the one of the weakest points of the look in Halo 4 is actually because most you have a zoom the entire time. Is that sometimes if you zoom on the stuff happening in the distance, you can really tell that it's like super low quality.
Right. Well, yeah, it's inevitable.
The most standout one is in the first level where you first see the Covenant fleet when you open the blast doors, and you zoom in on one of the cruisers, and it's just a triangle, pretty much.
Right. Okay.
It's pretty low texture, pretty low poly, and it's like, fair enough, it's at a distance, but I can zoom on that shit,
Yeah. So what was our other one? Max Payne 3.
You suggested Max Payne 3.
I did.
Now, I have seen this in action as well, and it is pretty good looking.
I
was most impressed by its animation.
The main thing
more than the actual sort of
it's the attention to detail rather than the pixel pushing, I think, of stuff in the world, like the animation and little details like your clothes getting more and more kind of ragged and stuff, and all the physics and stuff, because it's got the kind of momentum and weight stuff from... I can't remember what that stuff is called, all that, because Rockstar went crazy with that emotion. Euphoria, that's it. So it's got all that stuff going on, which is really cool, like when you roll and fall on things and stuff, and when bodies actually pile up on top of each other and stuff, that's quite nice.
And they don't go on about it quite as much as EA's Infinity Engine.
Yeah, they haven't gone crazy, although there was the typical Rockstar marketing push on that stuff, but it's a good looking game. I like the contrast, especially between the Sao Paulo very bright sort of slums and everything, and the New York sections, grey, dark, snowing New York and New Jersey stuff. It's cool. It's a good looking game, but I don't know technically. I haven't seen it on console actually, because I play it on PC. It runs really nice on PC, really nice. So that's a good achievement considering there are worse looking games that run
terribly
crappy. Yeah. So
for me it was the little, again, as you say, the little things, like how he holds the gun when you're using, how he holds his other gun in his hand sometimes when you're using another one, rather than it just disappearing, or
it has weight,
hovering on his back somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if that's... I mean, obviously that's technically difficult to do, that animation stuff. That's some of the hardest stuff to do, isn't it? Rather than just putting some... your latest ocular...
I need to make this thing a little rounder.
Yeah.
Just add more polys. Or some kind of a fancy shading effect to hide it.
You got any thoughts on graphics this year?
Technical graphics?
PC, you probably...
Well, not great any longer.
I was contemplating putting PlanetSide in here, but Zach and I came to the conclusion that it wasn't... It looks pretty, and some of the scales of the battles that that you can see in that game are pretty nice. But, and the biggest but here is the optimizational issue, in that it doesn't run very quick on my machine, which is, let's be frank, kind of mid-spec to low now. And it doesn't scale very well, basically. And even on a high rig, you didn't seem that pleased with how it runs sometimes.
Well, it's like it runs fine, and I've got everything turned not. Well, I think it's mostly all the way up, but not quite. But it's still I can tell that it's probably stressing my machine more than most other stuff that I play, and it still doesn't look that amazing.
Yeah, it doesn't look as good as Battlefield, I think, is my problem with it.
No.
And, part of that is because of what's going on and the scope of the game, but...
Yeah.
But, yeah. So I feel like I don't want to include that, because it's not really doing anything new.
So my feeling is that Max Payne 3 is probably the best looking game of the year, me playing it on PC. However, Halo 4 probably more of a technical achievement.
Yeah.
Given the limitations and where we are in the console lifecycle.
I'm
more impressed by Halo 4.
I think we mentioned this on the podcast when I first brought it out, the fact that they are still somehow pushing the Xbox's boundaries 7 years after launch.
So I'd be happy
thing
to go for Halo 4.
6 or 7 years, I can't remember. I think it's 7. Zach?
What do you think, Zach?
Personal opinion?
Well, that makes sense. So, I didn't play Max Payne 3, so I can't comment on that. So it has to be Halo 4, doesn't it?
Halo 4 is the winner!
Did you think it looked good, like a good looking game, Halo 4?
Yes.
You guess.
I don't know.
Do you care about it?
It looked like another Halo game.
No, but it's the prettiest Halo game.
It looked quite a lot prettier than past Halo games. If you look at 3. Or
How you can't compare it to
I know,
3?
but like, I mean, 3 compared to like, I don't know, or 2. So I was
Compared to Reach. I mean, that's the closest
sure.
comparison you can
I thought
make.
I
Really.
don't think I remember enough.
Because Reach was a big
That's
jump.
the problem.
Reach was quite a big jump.
It was a big
graphically.
improvement, I thought, over 3. Anyway, but they've added all their dust filters and crap, so now it looks pretty sweet.
The fog kind of looks a bit shitty on that level.
Yeah, okay. I will agree with you on that one. Yeah, the fog in the jungle level looks a bit rough. Well, it looks as rough as fog normally does.
Yeah, it's the classic where it's just like it just sort of fades to a flat colour at some point.
Yeah, it's like the classic draw distance fog.
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to bring up Far Cry here, actually, because I wouldn't say it's as good looking as Max Payne 3. However, it's pretty impressive that it renders all that fuck tons of foliage constantly without slowing down at all.
Yeah, the
really
volume
good.
of grass looked pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of foliage, as Marge would say. Yeah, and the characters look pretty good, but especially the way they kind of look you right in the eye. But
the bears. How the bears look? How does a bear look as it
not
tears out a
particularly
guy's
good.
eyes?
They just look like a bear in Skyrim or in Red Dead.
No standout
They're
bears.
not like super bears.
Super
They're not like
bears.
the ultimate bear model that I've seen. Anyway,
Halo 4 then.
indeed, Halo 4.
Agreed.
Best
graphics technical. Halo 4.
Next category.
Alright, best surprise. of
Quelle
the year.
surprise!
Quelle surprise.
Quel dommage!
L'anniversaire de surprise. No, that means surprising birthday, doesn't it? Never mind.
Bon surprise.
So I have 4 nominations for this. Zach can chip in if you've got more to add. My first nomination is Far Cry 3, because I'm not sure anyone really expected it to be as good as it seems to be.
I didn't. I'd seen the E3 demo and I was not impressed at all.
E3 did not
Boobs.
paint it in,
Obviously.
even with the boobs, it didn't paint it in a strong light for me. It's like, and in a weird way, the story beats that seemed interesting seemed to be the game's weakest point.
Other nominations?
Other nominations. Fez for the second half of the game.
Well,
Nobody knew that was
arguably
coming.
that wasn't really a surprise for us.
No, not for us, but I guess, because we knew it was there. But just in general, the fact that it existed, nobody really saw that coming.
No.
Dust and Elysian Tale for it just actually the accomplishment and it actually get someone putting it out there and doing that much work to get the fucker released. It's incredible. And Black Mesa for
being a lot better than I expected.
Actually just coming out and
Actually coming out after all this time.
Even though it's still not finished.
and looking alright.
It's close enough for me.
Well, it's released, it's finished, and they're going to do the ending as DLC, I guess, is how we could think about it.
It's a much longer game than your average first-person shooter these days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we talk about first? Shall I talk about
You got
Far
much to
Cry?
add, Zig, to the nominees?
Yeah. What? No. I was thinking about, probably FTL, because that pretty much came out of nowhere.
I guess. The surprise that it proves Kickstarter as a success.
I'd heard
Well, I
about
don't know if
FTL.
that's a surprise.
Rock, Paper, Shotgun had been going on about it for quite a long time. Like, they'd seen... I knew about it quite a long time before.
Yeah, but it didn't really have any... Well, because it was a Kickstarter indie game, it didn't really have any kind of...
It didn't have any hype train, did it?
No.
I guess?
That's true.
Apart from the fact that it was the first proper Kickstarter release.
Speaking of games that Rock, Paper, Shotgun go on about and that take forever to turn up, how's Spy Party going? They've got an art style now. I saw that. Anyway,
Jeez,
it's been years.
That's been going on a while.
Anyway, okay. Shall I just talk about Far Cry 3 a little bit there? Just
break it down.
Just that, what's the surprise about it? I guess the surprise for me is that it's kind of going back to the kind of Far Cry 1 setting, right? The Pacific Island after Far Cry 2 was in Africa or whatever. But for me, Crysis is much more like Far Cry 1, obviously, because it's the same developer than this. This is a lot more like Just Cause, kind of. It's a bit more grounded than Just Cause, but
a little less flying around with a grappling hook attaching explosives to people and then sending them into the sky.
Yeah, it's more standard shooting, I guess. But
can't take down a chopper by riding on its windshield.
Not that I've seen. I haven't seen any helicopters yet. Yeah, but I guess it was a surprise. I don't know what we were expecting out of it, but
it's just Far Cry General's just been so meh to me. Like since the first one came out,
Far Cry 1 wasn't really open world. It had giant levels, but
no,
it wasn't open world at all.
Kind of linear. Yeah, but it just rendered a long way.
Yeah.
I
guess I might have been expecting it more if I'd played Far Cry 2, maybe.
Perhaps.
Because I hear this is basically Far Cry 2 with everything fixed and more fun. But yeah. It's pretty sweet. And that's a surprise. It's just a crazy open world fun... It's basically, for me, it's like, I don't want to say it's like... a lot of people seem to be putting it in for like Game of the Year already. I don't know if we're talking about this. We won't not talk about Game of the Year yet, but for me, it's like I'm not sure I'm judging it right because it's like all the shit that I like in a game. It's like open world crap and first person shooting that's really nicely done and like stealth. It's like all the crap that I like shoved into one thing.
Game,
yeah,
I see your point.
Yeah, so
it's a shame I couldn't get the writing right.
Well, I don't know. It's fine. I mean, like, because I haven't seen the ending or anything, so I haven't been disappointed by it. But I wasn't expecting, like, the story is, like, most of the time you're just off, like, having fun by yourself or whatever. So the story isn't that important apart from in the story missions, obviously. And even then, it's like, I can see, like, the character, the bad guy dude, is really cool and well acted. But you can have you can easily have a film or whatever with, like, awesome, crazy characters where the plot is just crap.
Just dirt,
yeah. So that's what this is for me. I mean, to be honest, it's bordering on racist. The storyline of like the white guy coming to this island full of natives and he being the chosen one and having tattoos and becoming all powerful and showing the natives the way or whatever that is.
Perhaps, yeah.
It's like it's kind of a standard trope, isn't it? In films, or it has been. It's a slightly dodgy trope, but apparently it's slightly inverted, like. Because it's like, you're just a dude or whatever, and then suddenly you're murderizing everyone. But at least people are lampshading it, and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you murdering all these dudes? And you're like, good point. So it's like, what are the motivations of you? My motivation is to run around, have fun, and shoot fucking tigers and shit. Because it's hilarious. And to flip over jeeps and, like, stealth into bases and all that crap. Anyway, surprising the fact that it's good. And it is good.
Alrighty.
Black Mesa, I thought it would be good.
I think I was more surprised by Far Cry than Black Mesa, because, you know, the thing is, I sort of, if it was ever going to come out, it would have been good, because it's
based on a good, best game. Yeah,
it's already got a hell of a grounding.
For me, the surprise is that
it's just making that modern.
But as a big Half-Life fan, the surprise for me is that it's so good that it's almost certainly the way I will play that game in future. It's not like, oh, that was good, but I'll go back to the original. It's like, actually, going forward,
this is better.
I might just play this because it's Half-Life.
I felt they made a few, like, some of the decisions, like, from what you showed me, even on the...
It is hard.
One little, yeah, it looks crazy difficult.
It's pretty hard.
And some of the areas they've opened up a bit more possibly add to that. Like, you know, one thing that kind of annoys me a lot about sort of shooters is enemy accuracy at extreme range.
Right, yeah.
With, like, the regular assault rifles.
SMGs.
And these guys seem pretty goddamn accurate. More accurate than you can be.
That's true, yeah.
And that really annoys me.
That was in the original game, but yeah, that is a bit dumb. They should have turned that down. And
because of, you know, it's kind of exacerbated by the expansion of some of the areas of the game.
Yeah, true. But I think they've done a good job of like giving the feel of like the Black Mesa and making it bigger in the places where they would probably have wanted to make it bigger at the time, but they couldn't because of memory constraints or whatever it was. They're like, it's actually massive. Like they were trying to kind of hint at.
I think for me it was not the surprise that it was good, because I kind of figured it would go that way.
If it came out.
Yeah, that was the surprise.
Right, that it came out at all.
They actually finished it.
And and it's interesting that like it's all their quality control, because I thought that bits of it would seem older, and
they wouldn't have done. It
wouldn't be consistent. Well,
they missed a spot.
I thought you'd have some bits that were modelled years before and didn't look quite as good as newer bits of it. And
I see what you
but
mean.
Actually, the quality control has meant that the whole thing is like seamless. It's like really well done. So yeah. The only thing I wasn't sure about was some of the sound design wasn't as good as the original. And it's like
some of the original stuff was really bad as well. It's like,
yeah,
you mean some of the weapon noises?
No, the weapon noises were okay.
I was never that happy with the weapon noises in Half-Life. Some of them felt super meaty, and other of them felt kind of odd.
Yeah,
it was a bit all over the place. The weapon sound. And maybe that's probably where I'm getting this one from, because I can't really remember the original stuff, and when I heard you play it, it's like, shotgun doesn't sound that meaty. I think they may have toned that down, because I seem to remember it being ridiculous in the original Half-Life in terms of BOW! kind of sound.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy shotgun. No, it's kind of the alien sounds, because the thing is, they weren't like creepy and gross enough in places. Because like they had to recreate all the sounds, they couldn't use any of the Valve assets.
They never recorded that.
So...
and part of the licensing, I guess.
Exactly. So they had to redo everything. So some of that stuff isn't... I mean, the one that I picked out was the fact that the tentacle monster doesn't sort of yawn in the kind of weird, echoey, creepy way that it used to. Anyway, but minor quibbles in a very impressive mod, and quite a surprise that it's as good as it was.
Reboot. So what about that curveball of Fez, where the game suddenly plays its hand and is... kind of like, hey, this is just a quirky little, dimension-crushing platformer. Oh, wait, it's actually a mental cryptography challenge with shit to find and discover and stuff to work out and
it did seem
mystery.
Fairly surprising, but I don't know. It's like, would people have known more if they'd been paying more attention or something?
I don't know if there was anything to really go on. There was not like many preview builds had been demonstrated, as in, they just showed the odd level of and bit of the Trixel engine tech and that kind of stuff. I'm not sure it ever could have been demonstrated in a way that there would have been more to it than what dawns upon you as you play the game.
Yeah, maybe.
The owls!
That was a bit of a late one, though.
Yeah, I know, but it's just those moments of realisation where it's just like, oh shit, there's something to do with this.
Also, it didn't help in our case that we noticed the obvious, like, in the village that there's just paintings of where the owls are. That would have probably helped us a lot.
Hint. Hint.
So what do you think most surprising, then? Zeg, got any preferences?
I don't know.
What, is there anything else that surprised you? Did something else just sort of go, wow, that's cool?
Well, I mean, a lot of the smaller indie game stuff that I played was surprising that it was as good as it was. But that's just like all the indie games are like, really.
That's like
you could just buy something and not expect it to be anything that special.
I guess that's
to be better than you thought.
I guess that's good in a way. Yeah, best trend. Possible if we have a best trend category, which I haven't really thought about. I guess this would be like an addition as we go. The quality of indie this year has been super high. Really.
Yeah.
From not that long ago, anyway. Like where there would always be. I remember games like Gish, which was, quite highly rated, but I didn't like it that much, and it kind of had this feel. I don't know, the sort of feel to it, where that it was not quite so pro-crafted. But that seems to have gone.
Wow.
I don't know.
In some cases. I wouldn't say that's universal.
No, but it's maybe not gone, but it's definitely diluted. It's like I don't get quite that same feel anymore. That this isn't quite that. This isn't polished. They go out and they achieve their one thing that they want to do, and they do it so well. I can forgive slight camera jiggliness or oddness, saying like Cargo Commander, where the camera doesn't seem to be that smooth in places from what I saw, or some difficulty of seeing what's going on, I guess, because of the lighting. But that kind of added to that game in a way.
That's not anything to do with indie, though. Really, that's just
Okay, wasn't Cargo Commander indie technically? Or?
Well, yeah, but I'm not saying that its camera problems were
No.
specifically
But I'm just sort of saying
an
it's
indie
usually
thing.
what I'm saying is there's usually some unpolished aspect of an indie game that's not quite there, and it's like, well, Snapshot that looked fairly complete, in terms of its design.
Well, they're not the indiest developers,
Indiest.
as it turns out.
Oh, who are they?
They did Critter Crunch. No, not Critter Crunch. The other one, Offspring thing. So they already had experience, basically.
Indie doesn't necessarily mean that you. It just means you have independent control over what you're doing.
Yeah, but a lot of them are like first time stuff, mostly at this point, anyway. Because we still haven't reached like the second round of games for most of the indie developers.
I guess. I wanted to find out who did Retro City Rampage because that looks pretty sweet. Hotline Miami, I think, might have been new as well.
I don't think Retro City Rampage would even count though, because that's just like that's a classic. That's like making another. That's like that Mega Man versus Street Fighter thing that they just released. It's just like take the art style and slightly modify it and redraw it.
But it's a totally ground up. It's not really based on anything, is it? It's like there weren't really many games of that type in the era that they're trying to mimic.
No, but. They have like a starting. It's not really their own thing so much as like an amalgamation of.
All right. So, do you want to put like as your surprise quality of indie?
It doesn't.
Just a general concept.
I don't think it's that surprising.
Okay.
No.
Is it always? Is it not that surprising? Is it just like the industry foresaw this was where it was going?
I think it wasn't surprising because it is just where it was going, especially now that with all the Kickstarter and stuff.
I guess
Better funding and all that kind of thing.
I guess.
Okay.
So I guess that. Well, yeah. So we're on the three. We haven't really talked about Dust, but there isn't really much to say. I just wanted to bring it up again. It's a heck of an accomplishment. Surprising that one guy could do all that. Blah. Not sure it's the winner, but hell, it's worth mentioning.
Okay.
So Far Cry 3, Fez or Black Mesa? Zach, weigh in.
What's your vote?
I only played one of those again, so the same problem. I don't know what was most surprising. It's like I don't think Far Cry 3 would be most surprising out of those. Because it's just another big game.
That is definitely my vote because like I normally always follow like games up to their release that I'm interested in. And Far Cry 3 like I wasn't following at all, and suddenly it's like holy shit, this is awesome. So I'm like that would be my surprise of the year, definitely.
So by that logic, Zaki, am I assuming you're going Fez?
Probably.
But then you didn't seem that surprised by it either. Well, maybe that was for us anyway. Our exposure.
Well, yeah, that is the question.
Yeah,
how much of this is based on our experience?
We were a couple of months late when everyone was sort of like the beans had been spilled, so to speak.
Yeah.
See, I'm torn on this one because I didn't expect Far Cry to be good at all. People kind of liked 2, but it wasn't really crazy well received.
No, it wasn't. I think it had problems. I think it was a good game, but it had serious problems.
And I suppose I was kind of expecting. Well, if we were going to talk on sheer quality, I kind of expected Fez to be good,
right?
And it was
true.
The surprise with Fez is the mechanics of the second half of that game. That there's basically a second game there.
But you kind of knew there'd be something more to it, didn't you? Or maybe not?
No, I don't think we did.
Well, if it was a surprise, then that probably is the biggest surprise of the year.
I didn't. Anyway, I had no idea that was going to happen until it came out.
No. It could have just been a platformer. There's plenty of puzzly platformers.
Yeah.
Anything that, like, Echochrome or whatever, I guess.
Yeah, I wholly expected it to play a bit like that.
Just be a puzzle.
A bit like Echochrome, a bit like Crush.
Fair enough.
The PSP thing. And then did that.
Well, maybe that's the one then.
Alright then.
Fez?
Fez, with notable mention of Far Cry, it has to be said. It's a pretty close second, I think.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Fez wins Best Surprise of the Year for its second half game mechanics. Winner.
Next category.
Alright. The exact opposite of what we just did. What was the biggest disappointment of the year? My list here is somewhat esoteric, I guess, because some of these obviously we didn't play because everyone said it was rubbish.
Yeah.
So I've sort of put Sonic 4 Episode 2 because I can't really
Not
judge
even
it.
surprising though. It's like once you've seen Episode 1, you know that they can't do much to change to Episode 2.
I think the problem with it was they took it into a longer dev cycle with the intention of fixing a lot of what people said was wrong with the first one.
Oh yeah,
we're going to change the handling model, which is a little different this time, but not quite Sonic-y enough for my tastes. And we're going to generally up the quality of it, make the levels a bit more, a bit larger. And I'm not really sure they did any of that.
Well, not enough of it.
It's still, I don't know, maybe this was, again, as you said, sort of fell into the trap of, shit, we've made this an episodic game and no one really liked the first bit wasn't that well received. How much can we really change? It's like, if we change too much, then does it just become a different series? And none of the games really tie together very well anyway.
No. The whole idea of that episode of the episodes was dumb to start with, where it's like, get all 7 Chaos Emeralds and then get them again because they're in another episode now.
Yeah. So what Sega was saying sounded good, but they didn't deliver.
Yeah, I don't think that was like a surprising disappointment.
I don't think that's a winner. I just think it was like worth mentioning, just because Sega, come on, man, you know how to get this right on occasion. Sonic Generations and Sonic CD have been that.
Well, Sonic CD wasn't really them. the re-release.
No, but that was their humility to hire a guy that was doing a better job than they did, than they seem to do on their emulation front. But anyway, moving on. PlayStation All-Stars, because those mechanics look fucked.
Yeah, but was that really disappointing again? It was like as soon as you heard...
if they'd have just copied Smash Bros. As it looked like they were doing, that would not have been a disappointing game.
Yeah, but even when you first had the idea that Sony were going to copy Smash Bros., you knew that they were going to fail because they're Sony. They can't revolve Nintendo stuff sufficiently well.
Well, yeah, I never thought it was going to be better than Smash Bros., but I never... I'm disappointed by the way that they actually ended up designing the flow of that game. Like, the fact that you deal damage to build up a super, and then one hit from the super is what kills and scores points. Just feels like a kind of awkward way of achieving the same goal that Smash Bros. Went for.
Yeah.
It feels... I mean, they've gone to the effort of putting actually relatively deep fighting system into there, like combos and... things like that, when in actual fact, like, actually training together combos and doing damage to a single player is not really what the game is about. If it's a 4-player brawler, you want to be dealing, like, area effect damage and, like, well-timed strikes and things like that, and none of this combo system, which apparently is quite good if you were to take it out of the context it's in, really works.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, hard one to judge. We've not played it. It's just from the look of it that it doesn't feel... It just doesn't sound like it's going to be that fun.
No, it also doesn't look as clear as Smash Bros. Either.
No, it looks a bit of a... Yeah, well, you say that. It's, maybe the HD is enough. But,
maybe.
Yeah. Connect lineup again. This is the second year in a row this has come up, but the fact that there's pretty much been nothing this year that uses the Kinect well...
I don't think that's a disappointment again. It's just like, that's the way things are. You're not surprisingly disappointed by it. It would be best surprised if it suddenly got better.
Perhaps. I mean, it's like the Move, in a way, innit? That Microsoft should have capitalised more on this than they have done. It was the fastest selling consumer gadget when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't feel like Microsoft are using it.
I think they tried, didn't they?
They're using it more than the Move.
Well, yeah, true. They've done a much better job than Sony has with the Move, but I kind of expected Sony to be shit with that, because they're always shit with that. See how long Wonderbook lasts. Admittedly, they've kind of supported their camera longer than anyone, I guess.
Yeah, but only because they reused it.
Yeah, Move is an extension to it. Wonderbook is an extension to it.
Hmm.
So then when there's like...
So anyone who bought a PlayStation Eye is probably doing well.
It's like, how long will it be until Microsoft goes back on their no plastic controllers plan for Kinect and releases a Move one?
Right, yeah.
Really, that would be what would help them.
Yeah. it's like, annoyingly, Move is probably a combination of Move and Kinect is currently the ideal in terms of what we know about tech.
Yeah.
If they combined those two things, it would be really good. Really good. But, Microsoft will never agree to that, and there's probably patenting that stops them from,
It can't be that difficult to get around a patent for something that a camera can see.
a big glowing ball. Maybe not. Big glowing ball and camera combo, maybe. I don't know.
Presumably, on Kinect, it wouldn't even have to be glowing. It could just be reflective, and that would be enough for the sensors to pick it up.
Perhaps they do something with their existing IR mesh.
Yeah. It's just like really all they
or IR emitters, like how the Wiimote works. Yeah. But then that might be patented on the Wii side.
Or maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But anyway, going back on topic, Mass Effect 3's ending. Because, that was a big old furore, I guess. Is that the word? Furore?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm learning.
Don't think it has an A at the end.
Furore. Furore. But I thought it was pronounced E.
It like that.
Yeah, furore.
I don't know about that. I'm sure I've heard it without the...
Furore. There you go. It's a furore, by that logic. Nintendo fucking up the eShop. Or, actually, let's be honest, let's just extend that to how we feel about the Wii U in general.
I think that's the same as the Kinect. It's like, is it really that surprising?
Yeah, but it's Ninty.
Yeah, but...
Ninty didn't really mess up the original Wii when it came out. It did what it did very, very well. And it's like...
They kind of screwed up the 3DS for quite a while.
Oh, really?
Well, when that came out, there was, nothing for it again. But they eventually got round...
No, but this time, if you think about it, Wii U has actually got a really strong launch lineup. Admittedly, most of it's ports from stuff that already exists, but it's there's some pretty strong games in there.
I don't know, disappointments this year. Mine would be sort of lack of new IPs.
Perhaps, yeah. It's been another sequelitis year, I guess.
Nothing new.
Then again, some of the stuff we've talked about so far has been new IPs,
Fez and stuff. I mean,
Dust
big
and
games,
Splice and
all the indie games
Journey.
are always new.
Yeah.
But what big games would even... So what new IPs could there even be?
Pistol Arcade.
I suppose you've got Dishonored. That would be the first.
Dishonored, I guess, is probably the AAA new IP of note.
Yeah, nothing else new.
Yeah, and I want to add my disappointment with Smart Glass so far. It's not really done anything near what the promise sounded like it should do. It's kind of sucky.
I don't think that's really much of a disappointment because of how much expectation did you really have for it, especially at this point in the Xbox life cycle.
E3, they were pushing it as oh hey, we hey Nintendo and PlayStation, we can get in on this. We're going to have a full touchscreen gaming apparatus that could join in and.
Yeah, but that was almost like space filler for Microsoft. It's what else did they even have at E3, really?
Well, they made a relatively big deal about it.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It was like space filler.
Oh, I don't know if it's just filler. I think it's a good idea. I'm still behind them on the idea, but it's just executed poorly. Well, it's the most useful thing about it, and the only useful thing about it so far is the fact that it gives you a keyboard you can type on. That's and they essentially already solved that problem with the chat pad.
Wow. That's not really a solution. That's like a Nintendo solution. It's buy another bit of thing to plug into a controller.
Oh yeah, but that would have been the same as plugging a keyboard into your Xbox, which you can do.
Yeah.
If you had a wireless keyboard, you could just plug it in and sit on the couch and type.
Obviously, Smart Glass was the more obvious solution.
Yeah, which just
make use of things that you already have.
Well, it's stupid little things why isn't the dash touchable through Smart Glass? Why do I have to do these ridiculous gestures that are actually shitter than just...
Because it's the Xbox 360 and not the next Xbox. That's when it will be, presumably. Once they can make a system from the ground up that's designed to do that, rather than having to hook into an old system with some degree of efficiency.
But the dash is a constant, is what I'm saying. Is the dash, apart from the items that fill the boxes, the dash is a constant, in how it's laid out, except for when they do updates. So they could have like factored that into the application, how it knows how to deal with the dash. Yeah, and for things like where the games want to do additional content, they could have downloaded stuff like they used to do to a GVA when you're using the link up with the GameCube.
I don't know about that, because that's sort of...
And they sort of do that, but they just don't do it very well at the moment.
That's sort of a more difficult link between when you especially on the, like, different kinds of tablets that you can even link to SaladCast, where, like, some of them are Apple or whatever. It's probably a bit more of a hassle to make it always work with the tablet-specific architecture.
That's not necessarily. I mean, if they can build an abstraction layer that... I mean, that's what the cause for, like, you have some common code base, which could probably run on most devices, and then you have an abstraction layer that just converts, like a porting layer, I suppose, so it sort of makes it run. It's doable, but I'm not saying it's the easiest thing in the world. But what choice would they have had if this is the direction they want to go in? It's you may be right. Maybe next Xbox will have the power to do what Wii U is doing and send video.
Well, I don't think it needs that. I just think it'll be that it's built from the start with that in mind. Because I'm sure there's all kinds of like ancient bits of code in the Xbox that are just hidden behind a new look of the dash, but it probably still runs on like code that was there from the start in some places.
Probably, yeah.
And that's probably like a real hassle to work with in terms of linking it up to new stuff.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, if anyone's good at that, Microsoft is. But
yeah, but it's like it's basically a matter of how much money they want to spend to do that at this point, when it's really just an experiment preparing for the next thing.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I mean, you could say that about Kinect. Maybe Kinect and Smart Glass are the trial runs for how they'll be better in next box.
So if they don't turn out to be better on the next Xbox, then we can put that in the disappointments for next year.
Yeah. So that still leaves PlayStation All-Stars, Mass Effect 3 then, or Wii U, which you've already poo-pooed, so it's just probably going to have to go to Mass Effect 3, I'm guessing.
I didn't think that was a disappointment, that game in general.
No,
it wasn't as good as 2, obviously.
I was alright with it, to be honest.
I wouldn't describe it as a disappointment.
All-Stars then?
Probably.
Because I really wanted it to be good.
Yeah.
Sure, okay.
If it had just been Smash Brothers with Sony characters.
Yeah, that would have been fine.
Yeah.
It would have been good.
So, HD. No, they would have beaten Nintendo to the punch. Literally. No. So, biggest disappointment of the year, caveated by the fact we haven't actually played it, is PlayStation All-Stars for PS3.
Okay. Next category.
Moving on. Sort of similar in note to the disappointment, but kind of slightly broader and less about most disappointing thing. Most baffling decision, because I think we could split these out somewhat. Like,
what do you consider a baffling decision?
As in, something that just makes you go, what the fuck were they thinking?
Does that mean, like, could that include, like, completely weird story things in games?
Yeah, that's allowed. Just
okay.
And in fact, one of my nominations is for that. For instance, I want to nominate Halo 4 storytelling for that, because it is just a bit fucked, really. It's like key points of what's going on in the story aren't explained in the game.
Yeah.
You have to go out of the game to find these videos, which are only unlocked via the game.
Yeah.
It's dumb. It's really dumb, and it winds me up, because it's like the Halo universe has such a... is pretty good on its canon. You know, it's quite strong in its foundation.
And it's not like they hadn't done it the way that you think they should have done it before, because that's what they did in ODST, basically, where the little video bits were in the game.
Yeah.
You just went up to the terminal and pushed the thing.
Yeah, it was... I mean, you could store them, you could go back and watch them later, and it's like, they've done it right before.
They just wanted to promote Halo Waypoint, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. To be honest, I haven't dug deeper into the smart glass on that to see if you can view them through there as well.
Yeah.
But, because I just found smart glass stuff all to use, so I gave up on it. So yeah, Halo 4 storytelling, I think is a pretty good
that sounds
one.
Confused.
The baffling decision for me to lock some of the key points of the Mass Effect storyline behind DLC.
Yeah.
That's
And in actual fact, that...
Although, actually, it's not necessarily baffling as much as, it's EA.
Yeah. You know, it's
a really bad decision.
Yeah,
but it's not exactly, like, out of nowhere decision.
It's an irritating commercial thing that, you know, EA have tried a lot of shit over the years, and this is possibly their worst one yet, I guess. Because it's actually ruining the game.
Yeah.
You know, for all accounts, what has been said is that the DLC improves that game no end. And the fact that it was left out makes it a difficult sell. You know, I don't buy DLC generally. And the way the DLC is structured for Mass Effect makes me less likely to buy it after I finish the game.
Yeah.
So it seems utterly dumb.
Yeah.
It's like I can do without the Omega Pack, because that's just, you know, more fighting, basically.
Yeah.
So I don't care about that. It's not really much story. Leviathan apparently adds context to the ending.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, your ending was already fucked, and then you unfucked it slightly, and now you're unfucking it more behind a paywall. And it's like, right, I'm not sure you've really understood this properly. And then From Ashes, the Day 1 DLC, adds one of the best characters, supposedly, that the game has ever seen. Thanks to the Prothean and all his background story. It's like much needed, like, oh shit, this is really cool stuff.
Yeah.
And again, because of that, you need to play the entire game again to get the most from it.
That's where I have the advantage, because I haven't played it at all yet. So if I want to, I can just get the DLC.
So
go
go in and have the Brad Shoemaker approach of actually being able to play the game as it's intended to be played.
If I want to pay some more cash. Although, arguably, at this point, I might end up just paying as much as you guys paid for Mass Effect 3.
You know what, they might just do a special edition that has everything in it.
Or that,
that'll be your go-to.
Yeah, Game of the Year.
Wow.
That's
the thing, can they call it the Game of the Year?
We discussed this last year, your problem with people calling things Game of the Year.
It's like, as long as someone gives them some kind of award, then I guess they're allowed to put that stamp on. But
they'll do it anyway, even if they don't get any awards.
Probably. And also, my final nomination is Nintendo's approach to the eShop, which again I think is just ridiculous. How the stores aren't linked in any way between the devices, with no shared currency, no shared account.
Yeah,
it's nuts. And the fact, you know, I may have forgiven them this slightly if they'd called them different things across the devices.
They called them eShop,
but it's the eShop. It sounds like one service.
Yeah, they fucked up.
Yeah, it's messed up. It's properly messed up.
It's typical Nintendo, but they still
just don't understand the online space at all.
No, they don't.
I don't know how they can do that. It's, you know, it's kind of weird. Their heritage is Japan, which is tech crazy, ahead of the game culture in general. And for one of the biggest companies in Japan to just screw this up so badly is baffling. Hence the category.
I couldn't pick one of these.
Because they're all really bad.
They're all fucked.
I was going to add, like, Borderlands 2's story.
Oh, really?
I'm not really don't really want to spoil it for you, because you haven't got it yet, but it is completely... It's just like... Well, now that you've seen just the start of Borderlands 2, because you actually got it for Christmas and you started playing it. Because you see, like, the Guardian Angel or whatever turns up again immediately. And that is sort of fine at the start. Yeah. I mean, if you've played Borderlands 1, it is kind of annoying where it's like, these other 4 Vault Hunters have turned up and they've fallen into exactly the same thing where it's just like, this random voice in my head is telling me what to do, let's do it!
Yeah.
For no apparent reason.
Haven't the previous 4 told stories of this mysterious...
Well, they haven't yet, I guess, because you do meet them and then you think they'd start talking about it, and they sort of do eventually. But that's fine. That sort of... It looks okay at that point. But there's sort of a point midway through where there's the reveal of what's actually going on. And then everything about the end of Borderlands 1 and, like, what you thought about the Guardian Angel and all that is just completely fucked up. And it's like...
They just retconned it, basically.
Yeah, it's the dumb decision is that they've just tried to sort of continue with what was left at Borderlands 1, but then it's like they wanted to do something completely different, but they didn't really write a transition for it. They just immediately switched from one thing to another without it making any kind of sense.
I want to extend that to their inventory interface, which is probably worse than it was before.
Well, in some ways.
It's the fact that, for all its faults on the last one, at least I could see quite a bit on screen at once. This, they've just... I feel it may work better on a controller. Like, they've geared up this interface quite well for a pad.
Right.
Probably. But for a mouse and keyboard, it's freaking annoying.
I have to say the Far Cry 3 menus are a bit fucked as well, in that respect. They work, but they just don't, could be so much better.
Yeah. I find it kind of it's a classic problem that is going to be annoying for developers to get round, so that the PC can't always do their menu design that well. Unless you're playing over controller, which means you've got to design 2 menus. But in the case of Borderlands, I think they really should have done that, given the fact that they promised they were doing that.
But it's a lot better than it used to be.
Well, it is in terms of consistency, I guess. Like, mouse wheel works in most places, and
except for when it doesn't.
That's the same in Far Cry 3. Like, the mouse wheel works most of the time, but then in some places it mysteriously doesn't,
or does something else.
Yeah.
Well, it's the Borderlands 2. The specific problem with it in Borderlands 2 is a highlighting problem. Like, if you've got your mouse cursor over a menu item and you're scrolling using the mouse wheel, but then you move the mouse, it hops back up to where you've moved the mouse to. That sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, you told me about that. Yeah,
because it's selected.
Yeah. You have to use one or the other. You can't.
I mean, there's a definite way to use that interface that's better. Like, when you're swapping guns out, you click the original, then look through your list, the one you want to swap, then look through your list of ones you want to replace it with.
Yeah.
And it works okay in that way, but it took me a little while to sort of... And it's not clear, is what I was saying. Until you have to kind of work out what's the best way to use it for yourself, which may be more natural, I guess, if you're using a controller.
I thought that worked okay for swapping stuff and comparing things, which is the important part.
You guys need to thrash this out for a second.
Is there anything to thrash out? I don't think... Most of these things are barely even fitting in this category, I don't think.
Of disappointment.
Baffling.
Bafflingness.
Like, Borderlands 2 is that's just something that I found completely weird, but it's probably not that.
Well, sounds like Halo then. That does seem really weird. If the story stuff is really that important and you have to go to fucking waypoint to actually get to it, that is very mysterious. It's not exactly baffling. Like Mass Effect 3 DLC, it's dumb, but it's fucking typical EA.
Yeah.
Wii Shop, it's dumb, but it's fucking typical Nintendo. Halo 4 is the surprise, I guess, there. In terms
but is that even that surprising? Because it's a new developer.
Yeah.
It's just like they've screwed it up.
Yeah, but it's not surprising. It's baffling. It's probably the most baffling. It's
I guess.
Why did they do that?
Yeah, I think it's. I think I'm with you on that one.
Or maybe the bafflingness about it is, why did Microsoft not tell them that it was a bad idea?
Yeah.
Well, if it wouldn't have mattered so much, I think, if the core story that's presented in the game
wasn't just a big old setup for sequels.
It doesn't even feel like that, is the thing. It's like, the way the story is told, it's... there's more coming. Like, there is something there, but it's not a big old cliffhanger ending. It's not like, finish the fight. It's just... It feels like you're missing something for most of the game. And, as it turns out, you are. Yeah, so, I don't know.
Yeah.
The game should stand... I think the thing for me with both the Mass Effect and Halo things is the game should stand on its own, regardless of what else you can get for it.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Regardless of what you add to it and what your intentions are, the game has to stand up on its own at the start. And Halo, I guess, is the one that has to win this category, because... they can't really do much about it. This is the core of their design. At least in Mass Effect, they have sort of fixed it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it is behind a paywall.
Yeah, but that's not what this category was about. It's not about fixing Mass Effect 3 ending. It's about the fact that it's behind the paywall.
Yeah, I guess.
So Halo 4 then? Most baffling decision in putting some of the story in a weird place.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's key to that game, and they've messed it up.
Winner!
Halo 4 storytelling. Alright. moving on. Another negative, unfortunately.
Great. More and more complaining.
Yeah. But we're good at complaining.
That's what we mostly do.
Yeah. It's our thing. Worrying trend in gaming. Picking up from the last one. DLC that should just be in the game.
Yep, that's where that belongs.
In an extension to that, there's the Asura's Wrath thing, where the DLC is the ending to that game is a cliffhanger, and the DLC finishes it off.
Yeah.
And the Street Fighter Cross Tekken problem,
Characters.
where the DLC characters are on the disc.
Yep.
You know, Capcom were just an ass about just delivering it up front, which they really should have done.
And also,
so much of that game is actually locked behind paywalls. Now that I've sort of turned it on for a few minutes, it's like the color customization options.
Yeah,
every color is behind a paywall,
and it was doubly bad for them because it was like the DLC characters were on the disc, and they also decided not to actually unlock them for like another month or something.
Yeah.
Which
just
is like,
despite the fact that everyone had found it and people had hacked their own copies to work it, they were just like, no, we're gonna stick to the plan.
Well, it's not even that. I expect it wasn't,
and it didn't even come out for free afterwards either. They still charge you for it.
Oh yeah, but it's just like the idea that they would have that was their plan all along. Where it's like it will be on the disc, and for some reason we decided to have the release date of these characters be months later. Why would they do that?
On a slightly less gamey front, my second nomination was, well, actually both of them, my next two nominations aren't particularly gamey, but kind of tech in general. Mm-hmm. It's like, at least this one is kind of more directed at the Xbox. It's like, is Microsoft losing touch with its UI? As in, because the dash is just consistently getting worse.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, sure, the first update to NXE, whatever they called it, was great. That was a real improvement over the Blades. Mm-hmm. Pretty good job.
That was good. I missed that in twice, actually.
What, the NXE?
The second one.
Yeah, NXE was good. Since then...
New Xbox experience.
Since then, it's gone downhill. It's too ad-centric. And I want to access the content I have, or at least have the option to make the content I have the start point. Bad show. Don't get me wrong, it looks pretty. And the voice control is nice.
I actually think the NXE looked better.
But yeah, I'm with you. The NXE looks nicer. And I think perhaps when they... Because I guess the Xbox was a trial run for some of their Metro thinking. Mm-hmm. Or whatever you want to call it now, modern UI, I think they call it.
I think some of the non-core applications of the Metro design philosophy have been better than the Windows 8 actual. Yeah, like Visual Studio looks great. I think 2012,
but it's not really modern UI, is it? They borrowed some ideas, but not.
It's supposed to be an application of modern UI, isn't it? That's what they say.
But it's mostly the old tropes we're used to.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
That's not really
It's the best they could do, I guess.
Yeah, compromise, I guess.
And the new Xbox experience.
Yeah, so that winds me up. It's worrying that they just seem to be consistently making it worse. And I severely hope severely and sincerely hope that the next Xbox just isn't the same again. That it's all ads, and you have to browse to find what you want. I want to see what I want straight out. And this was my least gamey entry, but the worrying trend of just how many mistakes Apple seem to be making recently. Let's put this into context. New version of iTunes. What the fuck were they thinking?
iTunes was always terrible.
No, but they're making it worse every time. It's like they've removed cover flow, which is, a kind of nice for visual purposes on a PC, I guess, if you're just letting it play. It's kind of nice to used to have it at a distance where cover flow would be on screen and I could just see what was playing by seeing the album art or something at a distance. But they took out iTunes DJ, which I thought was one of its best features. You have a load of people over, you set it up in the DJ mode, and they can vote on and vote down the upcoming playlist. It's a great idea. Now, the only way to do it is to grant everyone full control. So skip at will, kind of thing. And it's like, that's going to be a mess. The whole point in iTunes DJ was to make the party scenario manageable and enjoyable one. And they did that. And they've taken it out. Stupid. And I had problems getting AirPlay to work with it at first. what are their core technologies to what makes iTunes good, and they've also sort of messed that up. So yeah, and I'm not too happy with the changes they've been making to bits of the iOS software, and it seems to be a constant downhill. Unfortunately, timely since Jobs went. I don't know how much of a hand he had on all of these different things, but it's true. It doesn't. Yeah, some of the. I don't know.
I do keep.
It feels like it's getting worse rather than better. Podcast app. I'm looking at you
because it's the important thing for us, obviously.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
We need everyone to be on there.
But yeah, as I say, not really very gamey. Their gaming stance hasn't really changed.
Apparently, I don't know if I said this, but Jonathan Ive is now in charge of the software visual design as well as the hardware design, and he particularly hates that design where stuff looks like physical objects, like the
skeuomorphism.
Yeah, he hates that. So there'll be no reel-to-reel tape machines in the new podcast app.
Because you know what, some of it's okay.
They would apparently.
Yeah, none of that. He hates that stuff.
So I can see where he's like the notes app I have in front of me right now. So some of it's okay. Like this is fine for this. I think for the notes app, it kind of it works. And that's all you really need it for. But it's almost what sets Apple apart, though. In a way, is they've gone so far down that rabbit hole that both Android and Windows, they've kind of just said, "Fuck it, we don't want to do that."
They're not doing it at all. Yeah.
So they've gone, Microsoft especially, they've gone so far in the other direction.
Yeah, they've gone completely the other way. Ironically, probably more Jonathan Ive's kind of thing, if you look at his designs for hardware.
Yeah, possibly. So yeah, it's hard to judge whether the trend will continue about the DLC thing, because people have noticed. And, it's not like it's the first time that it's happened. DLC on disc has happened a couple of times.
Yeah.
And people still seem to be doing it on occasion.
I suppose if you take the Microsoft losing touch with their UI as an omen of what could happen with the next Xbox, then that
could be pretty.
That's genuinely
bad.
worrying. Yeah, if they really screw that up.
Because honestly, most of the time, I guess, if the game is good, the fact that the DLC is on the disc may not actually matter. If the game is good enough without that stuff,
I think it's a trend that's already been around.
Yeah.
Continuation of a trend rather than a new trend.
Yeah.
Certainly worrying.
So I think I want to give it to the Microsoft thing, because you
should give it to my one.
Oh, you've got one. What's your one?
My one is paying for betas.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
It's a dumb thing.
That's quite annoying.
The worst is that now that they're on Steam, and that you can just put a beta release on Steam and it just appears in the store, and it only just has to say beta somewhere on its store page. It's not like they're in a separate section or anything. They're still there next to all the other games and everything. Yeah, it's like Kickstarter was fine. It's like you can donate to a Kickstarter and get a beta version, and that has its own checks and balances, I guess.
That's fine.
But then once you put it on Steam and it's just a thing in the Steam store,
it's misleading.
It's misleading, and it's I was just worried about, it seems as though it's just they're getting paid for the beta, and it's doesn't that just kill your motivation to finish? You're I got money now. I got my money from this thing. It's sort of there's a tipping point where it's you're at the low end. It's I've got how much money I'm probably going to get out of this now, so I'm less likely to work on it. And then eventually it sort of tips back to a shit ton of people have bought this. I probably should finish it. But there's a middle ground where it's I think it sort of disincentivizes developers to actually finish their games, because they've got money from it.
To a point, yeah. It's we've already made a profit on this. What do we need? Do we need to do anymore? No, just release it. Fuck it.
Yeah, we can just move on to something different rather than finishing this thing that we made.
It's a double-edged, I guess, because they might need a bit of money to actually finish the project.
Well, that's sort of what Kickstarter was meant to be, though. And that's where it makes sense.
A lot of devs, myself included, like to see something to completion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go for that one, actually. I mean, what was the business about? We haven't talked about that, the War Z stuff that seemed to go, War Z. That seems to be an example
very wrong.
of it already fucking up that Steam situation.
Well,
Steam had to pull it.
arguably, you could say that
Everyone got
wasn't
refunds.
actually a beta, it was just a really bad game.
Was it out? Was it not labelled beta? I thought it was meant to be beta.
I don't know if it was just not labelled beta or whether it was just mislabelled in general.
The version that... there was a lot of mislabeling, like 400 square kilometre levels, which were then, estimated at about 1 or something.
Right, yeah.
You know, really bold lies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's sort of general... that's sort of a general point about the Steam store as well, where it's just like, there's not enough... It's too easy to just put whatever the fuck you want in there, apparently.
What's Steam going to do, really? They're actually going to play through the game and double-check
well, it's like
bullet points.
Quite a lot of this...
What if Borderlands put 98.6% more wub in and Steam refuted it?
I think they probably did, didn't
I
they?
thought they had green lights so that the
that is
could
one of the
check
things
shit.
where it's like... I don't really want to, like, shit on a specific game, but I'm probably going to have to just for this to make sense. But that game called Towns that I got that's like sort of Dwarf Fortress Light with the graphics engine, that was green-lighted, and it's a beta, so it came through Greenlight as a beta and went into the Steam store, and it's still a beta, and it hasn't updated since it came out.
Oh, great.
It's like, that's one of the reasons why this whole thing started coming to a head in my mind.
It's not a crazy length of time, though.
No, it's been like a couple of months, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know,
But then, I mean, the other...
It depends how their dev cycle works, you know, because...
but it's such a small team.
It might not always be a good build of the game.
It's like when it's like 1 or 2 people, that's where it becomes more worrying, especially when you don't hear from them for a long time.
A bit of this that I dislike, actually, is... I'm with you on the paying for a beta thing. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but I guess depending on the nature of the beta, you can get... A lot of people can get their fill and then go. Yeah. Which has happened with some games in the past.
Yeah.
I don't like the concept of things like what Dust 514, and I'm not sure how badly PlanetSide fell into this. The fact that you can buy content for the game, for the beta with real money, because they're free-to-play model, but they're presumably beta testing their payment model. And it's like, I just don't... Something about that irks me. It's like I'm paying for
it depends
stuff
how they
in a beta version of a game.
It depends how they actually eventually sort that, because they sort of did that with Guild Wars.
Dota 2 is doing that as well, and I don't like that.
They did it with Guild Wars, but it was just like if you buy the gems, which is the Guild Wars currency, if you buy the gems during the beta, you can buy whatever you want during the beta. But then when it turns into the real game, it just gives you the gems. It doesn't you don't keep the stuff that you bought. You keep the cash.
Keep the cash. Yeah, that's probably a better system than I think a lot of things have gone.
Yeah,
you know, there's a certain level because the Dust beta has been running for so long now. Cracking good. Is it nearly 6 months now? It's been going a while.
Probably. It must have been not long after E3 where they started properly beating.
And they've only recently added some of the stuff where the EVE universe can interact with it.
I noticed something in EVE the other day. Now on the chat channel, it says how many pod pilots there are and how many soldiers.
Oh, I see.
So theoretically, you can talk to the people on the PS3.
So they're starting to merge them. But I just don't like the concept of I guess this is a problem with in-game items in general. You know, if you plonk down real money for something and then it gets balanced,
well,
you know, is what you bought the same value as what you originally bought it for? You know, I mean, I guess that stuff will always eventually have no value when the game ceases to be. But it's one of the reasons why I don't. Or one of the impetuses why I don't really like the idea of buying items in a game. You know, it's like you don't really know what you're getting. And it's like, and if you buy stuff in a beta, there's no guarantee that game is actually ever going to come out.
Oh, yeah. But then if sort of an opposite way of doing that is like, if you think back to maybe Battlefield Heroes, where you only buy things for a short period of time, but they're theoretically cheaper. It's like that sort of gets around the idea of buying something and then, oh shit, it got balanced and now it's crap.
Yeah, maybe.
But then it's like it looks like an even worse consumer proposition for this, like, buy it for 30 days for £1, and somehow that seems worse than, like, buy it forever for 15 quid.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, some games, Rikippers sings the praises of Blacklight Retribution for doing this system well, because admittedly it doesn't have the beta problem, so it's not exactly the same thing. But you can spend a relatively small portion of earned in-game money on a rental of an item. So it doesn't actually cost you that much to earn the ability to rent something. You get the ability to then rent that for an entire day, like of real time, not game time in that case, but it's real time. And it's like that's actually a fair way of judging then whether or not you want something, and if you want to plonk down real cash or save up for it using your in-game.
Well, I mean, PlanetSide 2 has that.
That's actually a pretty good system, really. I mean, PlanetSide 2 has a sort of rental
but
thing.
It's like half an hour. So.
Yeah, it's ridiculously harsh in PlanetSide.
And also, I don't know if that ever refreshes. I quite like, because that would be sort of the thing with to combine it with the balancing issue. If you could have a free trial and then maybe whenever they did a balance patch, you could free trial everything you'd already done again, that would maybe help.
So, given the fact that this has generated the most discussion, I think you're onto something here.
Yeah, I thought I would be.
Fair enough, that sounds like a winner.
Well, so the most worrying trend of 2012 is paid-for betas.
Indeed.
Betas, or alphas in some cases.
Or whatever they want to call it.
I mean, annoyingly, Kerbal kind of falls into that.
Yeah.
But it kind of helps that that's just a good game straight out.
Whereas, like, Minecraft was like the original... I think that's the problem, why this has all turned into a problem, is because, like, Minecraft did it, and then it turned out to be such a ridiculous success, and it made a company out of just the profits off
Everyone's trying. But
Minecraft.
As I say, Minecraft, and to a lesser extent, Kerbal, have the advantage, or was it Monkey Squad, isn't it, or something?
Monkey Squad, the Kerbal guys.
Yeah, I was trying to remember who they were, but to a lesser extent, they get away with it. I think because they actually have a good product that is actually kind of worth paying for, even though it's in alpha or beta state.
Yeah, well, like another thing that was related to it was I saw that the dev of one of the devs on Starbound suggested that, like, if you do, it was on Twitter, and it was like, would you guys like it if we made it so you could pre-purchase and get access to the beta? And it's like, I'd like it, but then I'd already been thinking about these other, like, towns and stuff, and it's like, but then you might not finish the game.
You know what it is?
I'd rather you just finish the game and release the damn thing.
You know what it is? I think it's a trust thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's like, to a certain extent, I'm not sure I really trusted what Notch was saying about what he was going to do to Minecraft.
No.
But the game that he sold was feature complete enough, by the time people were paying for it.
Just about.
And the same goes with Kerbal. I don't think they've really been that outlandish with their promises.
No.
And it's like, and to be honest, they don't really add that much to the game, because the core game is building rockets and seeing if you can fly them.
Yeah, I guess Minecraft and Kerbal are made like construction sets.
Yeah,
that's why that's why they're easier to do that.
Kerbal to me sounds like it should not be a beta. Games that shouldn't be a beta, I think, are out of this. Kerbal runs well enough, is stable enough, is good enough that it can be a full product, and they just have like a TF2 style life cycle to it.
It does still not have, features that it should have. I mean, it is just the whole idea that there will eventually be a campaign with, like, actual goals.
But I mean, it's cool, but I don't think it needs it.
No, not necessarily. But
it depends on the game drastically.
It depends on what they've promised, really, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. It depends on the promise and what they end up delivering, and I trust the Kerbal guys to deliver.
Well, enough, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas I'm not really sure about anyone else.
They've done well enough already. And that's like the other thing, the other recent example for me was the Don't Starve thing, because that's still a beta. And it's meant to come out.
I didn't know that was a beta. Steam does not make that obvious.
No, it doesn't at all. It's meant to be finished in, like, March, but they have, like, a much more sort of rigorous roadmap to that. And like, on the main menu of the game, there's a countdown to the next release. So they've sort of surfaced that and sort of committed to it a bit more solidly to say, we're going to release a thing in, like, 2 weeks.
All right. So be careful, games industry.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that you listen to us, but So there.
Or maybe stop calling them betas.
Yeah.
Invent a new term. Because beta sort of implies, like, testing, not a game that you can play.
Early adopter version. I don't know. I guess the same thing applies in Techland, really. If you're an early adopter, you'll have to put up with some level of shittery.
Yeah, maybe.
Or
that would
potentially
be weird.
The product never getting better. Fuck you, HD DVD.
That wasn't necessarily probably getting better. That was just a fight that they didn't win.
Yeah. HD DVD was fine as a tech.
Yeah.
But anyway, my next category I have is a positive. Whey! We get there, but it's a kind of a moot positive, I guess. It's like I want to see what was your best advert / trailer in gaming.
Not really a positive.
The best kind of positive, the moot positive.
Yeah, the moot positive. The positive that doesn't mean anything.
The pointless positive.
Yeah.
The marketing positive.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Some marketing can sometimes be awesome.
Yeah.
For stuff.
Not this year, though.
I put Halo down not because it was bad, not because it was great, but it wasn't bad either. It was there.
Yeah.
It was kind of average. And the quality of of what they put in their ads is always sky high, but it just wasn't as good as what they've done in the past.
No.
The Reach one was quality. But I put Call of Duty down for the ridiculous surprise advert that doesn't really have that much to do with the game, but it's just entertaining.
Here's a bunch of celebrities.
Oh, are they really celebrities?
Most of them.
Oh, well, I didn't recognise any of them.
Yeah, you did. Or unless we're not thinking of the same advert.
No, the surprise one had this, funk music, I suppose, funk disco sort of number going in the background, and well, no, that might not be true, actually. I'm trying to remember what the music was. But anyway, it was just people, creeping up on each other or doing something and saying the word surprise, and then something happened, and it goes around in a big loop, so the guy at the start does something.
They're all celebrities, aren't they?
I don't know.
Isn't it
I don't recognise any of them, if they are. They did one the year before for Modern Warfare 3 where it was B-list celebrities just walking at the camera and the tagline was "There's a soldier in all of us."
No, I remember that one.
Maybe they are, but I didn't pay attention. But I quite liked it because it's just kind of casual, like people dropping grenades. I think there's a really random one where someone drops something off a horse or something.
Yeah,
it's just sort of in there. All that stuff you could probably technically do in the game, but it's just kind of an interesting presentation. And of course, then it just ends with zombies. Huh. like, oh god, zombies. I don't know. I quite liked it. Phantom Pain trailer looked quite interesting. And I'll put MGS5 in with that because it's there's rumours that the two are related in some way. I really don't think they are. Whale coming out of the fucking ground. How is that going to be MGS?
It'll be a Metal Gear, giant whale Metal Gear.
Nuclear missiles going at it.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a really well-made trailer, I thought, just in general. It sets the scene. You don't really know what's going on, and then ends with the whale, and you're like, wait, what? Pretty cool. So if we want to talk about MGS5 separately, then that's kind of on the basis that apparently that's running on a PlayStation 3. Mm. And if it is, it looks fucking incredible. It's that is some seriously impressive stuff. It puts Uncharted and maybe even The Last of Us firmly in their place, if that's true. And the same probably goes for the Kara trailer, which wasn't really a trailer for anything you could buy, but as a tech demo, god damn, that's impressive.
I don't think that either of those I don't think that makes them good adverts, though, really, does it?
I'm judging this on entertainment merit, not necessarily representation, because we don't really know whether the MGS5 is going to be anything like that trailer.
Yeah.
I put a random note just to myself here about the number of bows. Year of the bow.
What about the year of the bow?
There was a lot of trailers with bows in it. Were any of those any good? I'm not sure they were.
No.
But anything with a bow in it. The cringeworthy Wii U stuff for so bad it's good comedy bonus.
I don't think that was as good as it has been in terms of ridiculousness from Nintendo some years.
It was pretty bad. That fake family.
Yeah, but they've had worse fake families than that.
Come here, Grandma, I'll show you how it's done. No one is that enthusiastic about a Nintendo. Apart from that kid in the Nintendo 64 YouTube video.
Indeed.
But unless it's his family. He's grown up, and then everyone's super excited.
Maybe.
And Watch Dogs, of course, because it spurred quite a lot of discussion from us as to whether it's this gen or next gen, or if it's actually going to be good, or how is it like where Assassin's Creed is going. That gameplay in a different universe.
It was kind of the trailer of E3, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was definitely the standout
demo thing. Though, who knows what game they can make of it. But
yeah, exactly. I'm really intrigued by it as to what are they going to do with it. That's my list.
What's your list? Got anything to add?
No.
Obviously, I quite like the Grand Theft Auto trailer, but I wouldn't say I preferred the previous year's one. What impresses me about the Grand Theft Auto 5 marketing is that it's literally the only game that can get the entire internet talking about screenshots.
Yeah.
They released 3 screenshots. I was like, holy fuck! Any other game, you need like 50 million hours of footage and shit.
Gameplay.
It's like,
yeah, you're probably right. I mean,
which is impressive.
It does. Yeah, it does drive a lot of hype compared to a lot of things.
Yeah, it's well done. But anyway,
I'm not entirely sure it deserves it, but
no, it's not up for the category. I don't think.
No. So
although I have got the music from the trailer, the latest trailer, in my head. I was watching Die Hard the other day because it's a classic Christmas film, and the dude, the limo driver, who's like trapped in the basement the entire time. The entire time he's also listening to that song for 3 hours. Get ready, go.
Yeah. It just happens to always cut to him when that CD is looped over.
Yeah.
Well, cassette, I guess, when that was made.
Yeah, 8-track or something.
So, I like COD Ad, I like Phantom Pain, I like MGS5, and I like Kara. But I'm thinking I can't really do MGS5 because... Actually, in terms of entertainment value, it doesn't really tell you fucking anything. It's purely a technical exercise. The appreciation of that one.
Right.
So the trailer's not actually that interesting. But Phantom Pain I like because it's interesting. And you don't really know what's happening, and it does make me interested as to what the hell this is. Very well put together. But
Watch Dogs?
I think it's the... Well, it wasn't...
Best demo, were those?
Yeah, best demo. I guess that still counts.
Yeah, it's not really a big marketing thing, though, is it? Well, I suppose it is.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That was quite impressive, and as I say, I liked the little details in that, and even the stupid things like that, like the probability of violence.
And it's done.
I'm not sure that really fits in the category if it's a demo, though.
Alright, then. So I'm thinking the Kara demo.
Fine.
And we extend that, well, I suppose...
But that's kind of a demo as well. It's not really an advert.
Well, no, but it's like trailer thing. It was really good.
But as you said, it's not a trailer for something.
Does it have to be?
Well, if this is... That's what
it's gaming related, isn't it? Because it's like, this is what we're going to do with the... Shit, I forget what that game's called. What the next Quantic Dream game is with actual Ellen Page in it.
Yeah, that thing.
I can't remember what it's called. That's annoying. But if that's like you could consider that some level of marketing towards that, I guess.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed the car demo. You showed it to us, so.
I don't know. I think I'm going to go with that then. No one else is going to dispute.
Nope.
Unless you want the COD ad, which you haven't seen.
No thanks.
Alright then. Kara wins Best Ad of the Year. / trailer. I have got flat out worst game, but we haven't really had much thought on that, so I put
that one.
There's a whole ton of them, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe, but we conveniently didn't play them.
Well, no, but I meant, like, even just looking at my giant list of all the games that came out, there's probably a ton in here.
Alright, what are your picks for flat out worst game?
Let's have a quick look. It depends what you mean by worst, because some of these are hilariously bad in other ways. Like, NBA Baller Beats was pretty funny for, like, being a weirdly... That actually turned out okay, supposedly. But, like...
Just the concept is fucked, isn't it?
Yeah,
that, really?
Like, using a basketball, what?
Using Kinect and the sensor. Well, I suppose it's a pretty good use of the sensor, really, because I guess those sensors have always been pretty good at picking up claps.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
So a bouncing basketball actually gives you a really precise... ish.
There you go. Connect Star Wars. Okay, we're done.
Star Wars, worst game of the year. Fair enough, okay.
Supposedly that wasn't bad. It's just aimed at the wrong audience, I think, for what... Like, it was a kid's game.
It looked terrible.
It's a kid's game.
I wish it was a little bit duller. I wish I was a baller.
Dancing mode.
Yeah, exactly. Oh wait, of course there's still Italian.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
That's pretty shocking.
Yeah, that's probably got to win.
Yeah.
I did put fucking knights.
That could have been good still, Battalion, if it worked. If it didn't work. Like, literally didn't work.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
I'd forgotten about that completely. Perhaps that should have been in our disappointment category.
Yeah, but that wasn't disappointing to us, really.
I guess.
Like, it was a Connect game.
Just
So there was not very much expectations.
Alright then, fight out worst game, Steel Battalion. Unless you got any better ones on your list.
No, I don't think so.
Alright then.
I hear Little Big Planet Karting was pretty bad.
I heard it was alright, just not great. You know what I mean? Sort of real average.
And I'm sure Just Dance 4 was pretty crap.
Those games are always crap.
Yeah.
It's a miracle that anyone buys them. Dance Central, on the other hand, I can fully get behind.
Yeah.
Crank that Soldier Boy Gangnam Style. Anyway.
Oh man, they must be fighting over the rights for Gangnam Style.
No, they both got it.
Game. Oh, did they?
Dance Central and Just Dance got Gangnam Style.
Because
That's
he
DLC.
wants money.
He wants money, obviously. Sai wants money.
That was DLC, but yeah, they both got it. Yeah, so anyway, end of that one. And I've also got like best remake category, which is like the best like remade or HD version of a game. Sort of can be extended to re-release if there's stuff that's been done to it to improve it from the original. So I was kind of impressed with Sonic CD, how that was improved.
Yeah.
That's because they just bought some dude's implementation of it.
Basically, yeah. Sega bought some guy who was doing
a good emulator.
Yeah, who basically emulated the game the best it's ever been, but then decided to actually improve things about it. Like, a number of bugs in the original were quashed, and a number of... the game can be displayed in widescreen format, which it never used to, and they've added extras, and I think they added the ability to play as Tails, because I don't remember that being in the original.
No.
So they took the original game and made it better, and added both soundtracks just for comedy value, even if there isn't any Sonic Boom in there.
That sucks.
Yeah, that was a bit of a shame. I wonder what kind of licensing fuck up meant that they couldn't get that. Was it not originally written for the game or something?
Well, I guess there would have been like probably 4 different people they would have had to license off.
Maybe.
Because I assume that those 4, there's like at least 4 people who sing on that.
But don't you normally hold the rights to the music that's been written for your game?
Well, I get the feeling, since this is Sonic CD we're talking about, that probably at the time they didn't think that was going to be a problem. So they didn't probably bother making proper licenses and signing proper contracts. It's probably that's the kind of thing that nowadays you'd think might have even just been like some staff members some devs or something.
I was just trying to think. Sonic CD actually probably came out before Sonic 3.
Yeah,
I'm thinking. So yeah, I was about to say Sega would know about that from the Michael Jackson thing they went through for Sonic 3.
Yeah, exactly.
And so there. So that's my nomination, I think, for best remake, and I'm pretty certain Dan wants to put Black Mesa in.
Yeah, sure. We already talked about it and how good it is, and
so yeah.
I already said that it's like so good that I'd play it over the original probably. Given that the original's one of my favourite games ever. So there you go. That's all you need to know, really. It's awesome.
So weigh in.
Don't know. There's like anything on this list that has HD on it, but that's
I guess there was Jet Set Radio HD, but
yeah,
didn't really.
It's like Tony Hawk's and Jet Set Radio and Knights.
like Black Mesa's a complete ground up rewrite. It's not like it's not like it's not really in the same category. I don't feel as Sonic CD, which is like the same game but made better. Depends how
it sort of is when you describe it like that. It's the same game but better.
I suppose. The Sonic CD is all the original art and assets and stuff.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, which were awesome, obviously. Music and everything. Yeah, I don't really care.
You know what? I'm inclined to agree with you actually this time.
Yeah.
Sonic CD is a good remake. It's that's what you should do, I think, when you're re-releasing an old game.
Yeah.
And, Backbone have been pretty good for Sega with their emulation front for getting some of the older stuff running, but they were just pure emulation jobs in the end.
And like Sonic CD, it doesn't need to be like you can HDify it, like, but it doesn't need everything completely changing. It's not like Half-Life where it's like tech is completely different. It's
the 2D era sort of ages well, whereas the 3D era most of the time really doesn't. 90s
3D games, like
it's a shame, but they just don't.
Yeah,
and I think that may be true of a lot of,
with the possible exception of like Mario and Zelda on 64. Which is fine.
I think maybe we may be hitting the cusp of when that's now acceptable. I guess because I can go back and play some old games, but there'll be moments where you're just like, yeah. That's hard. So we may be in the good zone for that stuff. Okay, Black Mesa wins Best Remake of the Year.
Cool. Okay, what's next?
I had to get something.
Clearly.
All right, now
Game
for
of the year.
Now for music. Let's do music.
Okay.
Best soundtrack /
Oh, can we stick Max Payne on there? Oh, you better give the
list.
list.
Yes, I meant to.
Yeah.
Yes. Max Payne was supposed to be on there for the...
Although they probably overused the main theme, but I suppose they have to.
Yeah. For their custom soundtrack written by Health, apparently.
Yeah. It really fitted the action quite nicely.
Yeah, from what I've heard of it, having not played the game, I've heard some bits and pieces of the soundtrack, but it all seems really fitting.
It's impressive. It stands out to you when you're playing.
They sort of use it for moments, I guess, don't they? To accentuate the story, which I guess is what Rockstar has always been good at. But
that's true.
So, obvious entry for Fez, I think, because that soundtrack, as I mentioned before, is so integral to the feel of that game.
Yeah.
Combined with everything else. And it is a fantastic piece of music, like, just in general. Like, the glitch room with the glitch music, that's quality. And the general music room in general was quite neat.
Mm.
And just all the... sounds that I think would normally be a bit weird, kind of coming together in a nice way. It's just, it's a nice bit of soundscaping.
Yeah,
that's how I'd describe that. Disaster pieces behind that one. I've got Halo 4 down here because actually both Halo 4 and Mass Effect 3 had the same thing for me, is that actually the music is really, really good in both of those games, but I think in the context of the game, it doesn't really come to the fore. Halo, there's not. I felt there wasn't really the same strong theme in either of them, really, that have been in previous ones. I think because I remember chastising Mass Effect 2 slightly for being a little too overzealous with the main theme.
Yeah,
because it played a lot. And in the credit sequence was just that same theme you'd been hearing throughout the entire game again, that kind of stuff. It wasn't that. It was good, but overused.
I think Mass Effect 3, it clearly inspired the composers just with its sheer gloominess. Like it's more depressing than the other. Yeah,
some of the piano numbers in there are really, really good.
And there was a lot of quite like. They just break out that Reaper horn, don't they? Like it has
it goes a little Inception.
Yeah, but it's a bit Inception. But I thought it was very effective, and I thought it was the best score of the Mass Effect stuff, probably.
Yeah, it is really good. But again, I think while I was playing it, except for those couple of cutscenes, never really stood out. You know what I mean? It was.
Yeah, it's only weirdly, in the sequences. And stuff.
Weirdly, when I think of Mass Effect, I always remember the music from the first game.
Yeah,
more than the other
that
two.
Clinky sort of sci-fi stuff.
Look, but the quality of the soundtrack in the second two games is actually really better. But I think as a game soundtrack, the first one worked better.
I thought it. I think they're better. The 2 and 3, certainly 3 soundtracks. But I think the Mass Effect 1 is more distinctive and memorable, actually, in a way, just because it's so different. Like Mass Effect 3 could be a film score.
the synthy thing, and then they went all orchestral pretty much in 2, and then they kind of found a blend in 3.
Nice blend, yeah. Because it suited, it was nice and epic and stuff, but you had those synth elements.
Yeah.
But that Mass Effect 1 score would never work for a film, like a Hollywood film.
And I think it stands out a little bit more for me over Halo 4, which, as I said, is great soundtrack, but Halo always had that theme thing, that theme sound.
Yeah.
Which this doesn't have.
Right, yeah.
And Reach...
had
less of it, but it toyed with it. If you know what I mean, it got close to the theme and then changed it a little.
It's deliberate, yeah.
Yeah, which was great. It was clever.
Yeah.
3 had that brilliant. I love 3's soundtrack simply for that sort of dum dum dum.
Yeah, that was good.
The sort of piano thing that came in at just the right moment. So yeah, it's great, but just not as great as Halo is known for. It's a different guy, though.
It's not Marty
In fairness,
O'Donnell.
no, Marty O'Donnell's gone on to different things.
But he'll be doing the music for the new thing.
Yeah, presumably he's still at Bungie. But yeah, fair play to you, though. It's still good. Just, and my other nomination, which Zach will be pleased with, I guess, was the FTL soundtrack, because that couldn't have been more suiting for that game.
Yep.
The sort of... It's hard to describe it, because it's kind of casual, but at the same time sort of tense in places, but not in its sound. It's like the composition is tense, but the sounds are quite soft and sine wavy and...
Yeah. And of course it has the fade into battle music.
Yeah.
It's always important.
It's I don't think that game would have felt the same without it.
Maybe.
I don't know, put some Rammstein in there, it's not really going to have the same effect, is it?
But you can say that about a lot of things, really.
Put some Rammstein in it, it's not the same.
It's going to fuck up most things.
Yeah. But I don't know, it stood out this year. I mean, you were trying to get us into Snapshot earlier, and it's like, nah, it's all right, but it doesn't make the game. And that's part of what makes the soundtrack great, is that it has to make the game.
It helps.
Yeah,
although some levels are better than others, I think it's that. Because it's like...
Actually, the opening stuff, I think, was better than...
Yeah, the forest levels, I think, are probably pretty good. Actually, this was
even if it didn't really suit the forest, it was quite good as a
like this is
music,
the trouble with that video, is that the forest levels are pretty good, and I think I liked the actual 4th chapter level music quite well as well, which we didn't get to in that video. Like the disused laboratory, that has pretty good music as well. I think is the better part. And of course the disco level, which I didn't get to show you either. But the disco level is just funny rather than good, I think. Like, weirdly out of place suddenly. And then the other nomination, of course, was Splice. But that's just puzzle game piano music, I guess. It's suitable.
Yeah, it is suitable. It's great. It's quite nice. But, yeah, it's of mention. Yeah. But I don't think it's a winner.
Well, obviously we know what the winner is, so...
Well, do we? I don't know.
It has to be Fez.
Okay, Fez. Fez is the winner.
Well, okay, fair enough. Because I was about to say, if Dan was going to talk up Mass Effect,
no, that's fine.
I might have had a problem deciding, but Fez is really good, and it's probably the one I will go back to and try and listen to more.
Yeah.
So,
winner, best music, Fez.
All right. Worst moment in audio across gaming this year.
How many have you got? Because I managed to come up with one more.
I've got the Mass Effect 3 Relays, that's a good one. Just for the dynamic range on that fucking thing. We have to set it down every time.
This was Naomi's recommendation more than me, because it is so much louder than the rest of the game. And it's so unnecessary.
Like, my stereo was on, like, and it's like... it was like, Jesus.
It is completely and utterly... Even from the gameplay standpoint, that sequence is just in the way.
Yeah.
It's really annoying.
It sucked in Mass Effect 2 even that long ago.
Yeah, even in the first, really.
Wow. You didn't see it nearly as much in the first, really.
I don't know, it still did it whenever you went from system to system.
Yeah, but it wasn't quite so...
It was the same.
It hadn't got round to being annoying yet. In the first game, it was just like, this is their loading pause. Yeah. Basically. But in the second game, it was like, why have they not fixed this?
It was that sequence, not necessarily the audio of it, but the sequence in general was irritating to me in the game, in terms of the game's flow, and the audio was irritating to everyone around me. I'm getting the nod.
It was way too loud.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a good one. I've got Guild Wars 2 NPCs, because their speech repeats a bit too often when you're standing nearby. Well, I don't know if they could have done something to make it so those sounds play differently for different players, rather than them, because they've got that. I mean, it's good in a way, because when they start talking, everybody hears that at the same time. Yeah, and I think that works in certain places. But I think when you're standing around NPCs that perhaps should be marked as I've got repeating audio. maybe that was less important to leave in, or at least like make them quieter or something the more you hear it. I don't know. Either way, it's quite annoying when you're standing there doing something. There's some people having the same conversation every 90 seconds.
Yeah, well, it's like it's a problem because in a lot of cases, in theory, you might run through that area like once, and then you'll hear that conversation, and then you'll never go there again. So it's kind of important that it repeats that frequently so that you hear it the one time you run past, or otherwise you might never hear that, and it might be like...
True.
It's sort of interest building
yeah,
in the world.
I don't really
stuff.
know how they would have fixed it, or how I don't really know of a particularly great solution for it, but it is still annoying.
Yeah.
Perhaps if you're I don't know, those ones that are... But they could have done something, I guess, for the guys in towns, maybe. So, like, if you're in a menu and you're near some NPCs with repeating text, just don't repeat it, or don't let you hear that one while you're in a menu.
Maybe.
You know, let ones you haven't heard yet, in your visit, make a sound, but don't let them repeat, I guess.
Possibly.
That might have been enough. You know, in the world, in an important mission locations, fine, yeah, whatever.
But then then it'd be weird if like you'd see NPCs walking up to each other and having silent conversations.
That's not exactly uncommon.
No, I guess.
In gaming, but yeah, so there's that. I've also put down for Guild Wars that sine wave glitch I had, where it just sort of
that was something on your system that went weird.
The game it was really annoying though. Made it unplayable because it's just like in one ear with my headphones it just started going.
Your system has like weird sound glitches when you exit stuff as well, so
that's different from it. That's just them not closing the device properly, or my device not handling that well. But it's that I could deal with, like end of sound effects tailing into a loop, but when the whole sound system dies mid-game and you can't get it back, that's kind of annoying. Kind of. Yeah, you got any more than that?
Well, my last one was Guild Wars 2 as well. Because
what for?
For the... Well, it's not even NPCs, it's stuff that, like, the characters say, mainly anything that they say when they get status effects. Because you hear those so often!
Oh yeah, I'm 6 feet tall!
Oh, in Far Cry 3, the dudes that you're stealthing, they have about, like, 3 lines that they say. And really? they repeat, like, constantly. It's like, oh no, I should have used a condom. Burns when I piss. And then they just keep saying that over and over again. Yeah, so that's dumb. They're called apparently they're called barks. Those
where they just say them on their own.
Where guards say shit for no reason. They're called barks, but they have almost none.
Which is annoying. Particular content of that one must be really annoying after a while.
It is kind of annoying, but it's probably not as annoying as. Especially because they're like the Mass Effect, you're on the nice, relaxing galaxy map music, bling, 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 and then you press the thing, and it's it's so loud.
And then there's that like second phase to that sound, isn't it? With that little
sort of echo.
And it's like, and all that does is make my sub go nuts.
Yeah, it's just annoying. It's just unnecessary as well.
I think we may have a winner there. The Mass Effect relays.
The Guild Wars 2 outclasses it on 3 different nominations.
Well, but the singular moment in audio. But I guess if we were talking like worst game for audio stuff, perhaps Guild Wars wins that. Best overall game for bad audio, but because the rest of it's okay. Actually, no, the sounds do get grating after a while. Actually, in Guild Wars, they're better than they were in the first Guild Wars, but they're still a little grating after a while. Like the music's fine. Yeah. I like the music in Guild Wars.
Yeah,
but you know, even your weapon noises, like the guns and stuff. Like, I guess the guns are quite annoying because you hear them all the time. Like, bang, bang.
It is
bang.
like though. It's because you don't have any options for that. I guess.
Well,
but really, what can they even do? They'd all be guns.
So I guess if different models of gun had a slightly different sound, then that would be cool. So yeah, Guild Wars 2 I think wins worst overall audio experience that we've had, but the Mass Effect 3 wins, like, definitely has to win worst singular audio moment.
Okay, official.
Alright. Moments. Best moment. Danger of spoiler territory here, I think.
I'm running out of moments for this year. It's not been good moments here.
No, it hasn't been.
I need to play The Walking Dead. So
it hasn't been that
moments.
great. I mean, you suggested Morden's death.
Yeah, I thought that was
Mass
pretty
Effect
good.
3, which was...
It's a nice...
It is avoidable in one very specific way, but it's kind of hard to do, and you have to...
But you can avoid him dying?
You can avoid his death, but it's really based on your back play, and it's an awkward scenario. Like, I don't think it's a scenario that many people will have had.
Right, I didn't know that. It's interesting.
There is a way of doing it. But that scene just gets better. If he has to die, that scene gets better and better the more you've interacted with him in previous games. Bringing back the old classic Gilbert and Sullivan thing.
Yeah, of course.
It's classy.
Do you only get that if you've had it?
If you only get that if he sang it to you in Mass Effect 2.
Oh, cool. That makes sense.
There's a few things like that with that sequence. I've put down, spoiler alert, but you kind of knew it happens, really, because it's part of the main plot of the game. When Alex Mason dies, the way that is done is such a mindfuck. It's so mean. You kind of know something's wrong. The mission in which that happens is like everything is set up that something's not right, but no one really knows what.
Right.
And then this horrible thing happens at the end, and you're like, "Oh fuck!" It's really well done. That whole scene is nasty. It's
Well, it sounds memorable.
Yeah.
And typically unsavory.
Yeah, but it's the major turning point of that game. Really, it's the key part. It's the key moment in that game. It's really great. It's done so well.
Zeg, you got any nominations for best moment?
Not really.
I was going to say like when we had like any time you make a good revelation on Fez is a hell of a moment.
Well, yeah.
But it's not really one that the game gives you. It's like it's your own personal satisfaction.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, just as powerful, I think. But figuring something out is like, it's like, oh shit! Or when we get it, or the order, it was because the opposite to that was the time where we accidentally got something right, and then we're like, well, how the shit did we just do that? And then had to go look up what the actual solution was that we'd accidentally stumbled upon. It's like, oh, alright. That feels less good.
Clearly, the best moment of Fez was having Kiffers on the voice chat. Go,
fuck! He wasn't even doing anything related to Fez. He was playing God at the time. That was pretty funny, though. Fuck! Yeah. Oh, most of the moments when you discover something new in Fez are pretty great.
And the ending counts more as a moment for the game rather than you. Because presumably that's just the ending.
I guess. I'm not sure the ending was really the moment, though. It's not the standout bit of that game, I guess.
Yeah.
Again, the ambience of the moon, I suppose, was kind of cool.
Yeah. And the ridiculous pixelation effect.
Yeah.
Where everything starts going crazy and it's like, oh shit.
Wait, what's going on? And then just that moment where the pixels break at the end.
Yeah.
That's quality. That's just cool. That's not really it doesn't have the impact, but it's just really cool. Yeah, so there were two. I could have sworn there should be more in Mass Effect, really. That I should remember. But I don't. And maybe that says something.
Yeah. It says that it came out in March.
Yeah, I guess when the kid dies at the start, but it's kind of set up so you know that's going to happen.
Yeah. It's being on Palaven, I guess when you first land on that's pretty cool.
Yeah, the ending, the good ending to one of the good resolutions to Tali's homeworld stuff was kind of nice.
Yeah.
Especially if you're playing the romantic tree with Tali. I think that plays out quite well.
Oh yeah, kind of after you've beaten that fucking stupid Reaper where you have to dodge and you have to roll.
Yeah, it's a shit mission, that bit. But the way that those scenes...
Yeah.
Not necessarily the acquiring of the photo of Tali, that was kind of... So you get to see that a fucking Quarian is... Yeah, I won't spoil it for anyone. It's a disappointment. not as fucked up as you would think. Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know. That's a tough call.
I think it's going to have to be your call because you're the only one that's
done them both. Yeah. I'm going to go with Call of Duty.
Fair enough. Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
That's the one I'm going to remember, I think, this year.
Death of Alex Mason.
The Death of Alex Mason.
Really good.
We've only got one nomination for this next category, so this might be an instant win.
Instant win.
Laziest sequel. Pokemon Black and White 2.
Well, regardless of if we came up with any more, that would be the winner.
Did you have any more possible suggestions?
Look at this list and see what ones there might be twos on. I guess Borderlands 2 was technically quite lazy. Because it was just more Borderlands. With better guns.
And even though I've only played 1-2 hours of it, you can tell straight away. It's like, this is Borderlands again.
Yep.
It's better in a number of ways, like presentationally.
Yeah.
But it is the same game.
And more obvious nominations, any of the more new Super Mario Brothers.
I guess.
2 or U.
Yeah, actually, they're
sequels to themselves, even.
They're pretty good entries. I mean, New Super Mario Bros. U is supposed to be a pretty good game, but they're just pulling from the same graphic library that they've had for 5 years now.
Yep. I don't think many of the other ones on there that have numbers are particularly lazy. I mean, there's the dancing games again, obviously. These are relatively lazy.
Yeah. I don't think they really added anything with Dance Central 3 that they hadn't already done in 2.
And Magic the Gathering 2013.
Well, yeah.
Although they added the ability to tap lands individually.
There's a whole new game type.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they replaced Arch Enemy with something else.
Oh, good. I didn't like Arch Enemy.
Yeah, it's alright.
It's okay. I just don't feel like playing it that much. I'd rather play more normal Magic than Arch Enemy.
Yeah, I just hope they've improved that interface. Actually, it probably won't be a problem on PC. It was a bit of a... They've made some serious loading error mistakes on the Xbox.
Oh, right. It was quite nice on
things take too long to load for a game that's entirely based on paper.
I'll install that on my SSD then. Instantaneous.
But on PC, I'm sure it'll be fine. Regardless. Yeah. So, laziest sequel.
Pokemon Black 2.
Actually... Yeah, no, Pokemon still has to win it. Borderlands actually is a pretty good suggestion.
There's a lot of content in there.
There is a lot of content in there. It's like the COD thing, I guess. They've worked really hard to make the same game.
Yeah.
And it's been more of a success this time. So.
Yeah. And I can't, and actually this time I can't put COD into that category, even at all, because this year's was so good.
Yeah.
Right. Next one. Probably another short one. The most swear-inducing game of 2012. And I put Guild Wars 2 for the jumping puzzles because I don't like the handling of how the platforming in that. It seems so awkward and it's probably lag, to be honest. It feels like I get shoved off good landings quite often.
Well, I mean, potentially with your system, it might even be just graphical. You might not be seeing enough frames to really feel like you're
perhaps
landing it right.
That's a fair enough judgment. But yeah, they could be really quite fucking annoying when you've been trying it for 40 minutes.
We haven't even done any of the ones that I consider really annoying. Although one of the ones that I considered most annoying is less about jumping and more about there's just traps that instantly murder you if you cock it up at all.
Oh shit, that sounds bad.
Although, potentially that's more annoying for me because I was doing it solo, so I didn't have anyone to pick me up if I cocked up.
Then wouldn't you be in a trap?
Yeah, but there is still ways you can get out of that, isn't there? There was that in that stupid spider cave we went in.
Yeah.
Where if you fall it, providing the guy rezzing you doesn't foolishly start rezzing you while he's standing in range of the trap.
Yeah, you get a moment, I think, to get out.
Once you get up, you can dive out of the way really quickly.
Mm.
But yeah, some of those were pretty annoying.
I can't really think what else of this year has wound me up too much. I mean, some bits of COD are quite frustrating, but that's COD.
I'll tell you something that fits in this category, not actually because of player involvement, as it turns out. And also, you didn't actually see this when I showed it to you, but in Cargo Commander, you hit F, your guy just goes, "Fuck you!"
Really?
Yep. It's literally the most swear-inducing game because it's just something that the character does.
You can make yourself swear.
Yep.
That's kind of cool.
For no reason.
That's quite random. The F button.
He's swearing at absolutely nothing.
Yeah, fuck you.
He's swearing at nuisance.
Does it actually say that?
Yeah.
Oh, right. That's not what I expected of that game.
No, that's the other reason it's really weird. Doesn't really fit in with the aesthetic of the game very much.
I think something dumb I keep doing in Far Cry 3, not pressing F, but like if I'm driving, the map doesn't have it doesn't give you those nice sat-nav navigation, so occasionally you need to check the map to see where the hell you go. So you press escape to go to the map, and you press escape to come back out of the map and go back to driving. But if you miss WSAD, for some reason I've done this multiple times, and I've pressed E, and I just jump out of the car as it's speeding along. It's like, oh, check the map, oh shit! I keep jumping out. Anyway, never mind.
That's quite funny.
Because you're going to press W for accelerate, and you're like, E, oh shit! Anyway,
that's pretty funny.
Only on PC. That won't happen on console.
Yeah. I don't know if we were to extend it to most swear-inducing game of all time, of any year that we happen to play this year, then I might put the Williams Hall of Fame collection in there, because some of those tables are fucking bastards. Especially Pinbot. Screw you, Pinbot.
Battlefield 3.
Yeah, or Battlefield 3.
Always.
I've had a better year of TF, I think.
We haven't played it that much, really.
Not as much, no. It feels better.
Can't say 2. We haven't really played that enough for you to get have a bad day.
I've not been that annoyed with it so far. I mean, it's really quite annoying if you die and you can't spawn in anywhere close, because then it has the Battlefield problem.
Yeah.
It's like, shit, I need to get back into that fight, but it's going to take me 5 minutes to drive over there.
But at least you can always get a vehicle.
Yeah. That's true. Well, provided your spawn point is in a base with vehicle spawns.
Well, they all have some kind of vehicle spawn. Even if it's just a shitty ATV.
Yeah. Buggy.
Or an aircraft.
So, with no other possibilities, I think that has to be the Guild Wars jumping puzzles.
Indeed.
Winner
most swear-inducing game of 2012. Guild Wars 2 for its jumping puzzles in an MMO with lag and all.
Wow.
Brilliant.
Technically, lag shouldn't be a problem for jumping puzzles.
Shouldn't affect that.
Because it should be all client-side, that part.
Yeah.
To some extent. Your position.
I'm not so sure.
Right.
Anyway, games we really should have played. What was the biggest game or the best rated game? Well, I don't know how you really want to rate this, but what's the game we should really play next year? Out of this list that we didn't get around to playing. Assassin's Creed 3. Sega and Sonic Racing Transformed. And admittedly, we have a caveat for that because we want the PC version, which hasn't come out.
That doesn't count because you were going to play that.
Yeah, but we haven't.
Yeah, but... Just because it hasn't come out, I don't think that really counts.
Well, I suppose I kind of want to play Assassin's Creed 3, but I've got the Revelations still to do.
Yeah, but isn't this category meant to be more about games that people say are good that we didn't necessarily weren't that enthusiastic about?
No, we've got another category for that.
No, that's a different game.
No, there is another category for biggest game that we just don't care about.
Yeah, but that's not the same as games we should play. This is like games that people are telling us we should play.
No, yeah, to an extent, I think this is the game we want to play the most, that we feel we should have played, not necessarily that we're told that we should have played. So this is kind of like a preview of next year on the SaladCast. So yeah, Spec Ops, I really want to play that, just because of the... it's been said that the gameplay isn't great, but that's not the draw for me. The draw for me is that ridiculous storyline, and Nolan North.
Because people have told me about it. That's why.
Yeah, again, but I want to do that, not because people have told me I should play it. It's like what I've heard about that storyline is appealing. Trials Evolution, one of the biggest releases for Explorer this year.
So as long as that goes on sale,
looks a lot of fun, and I want to play it, but it's a bit pricey. Well, I suppose it's not really that pricey. It's just that Explorer doesn't really reduce prices very much. I think it came on sale and dropped 400 points, so it was 800, which might have been worth a punt, I guess. But it does look like a laugh. I don't know if it has. Does it have split screen co-op multiplayer? That'd be pretty cool. It probably doesn't.
It has the 4-lane things.
Yeah, the 4-lane mode that looks pretty funny.
Yeah.
But I think I'd get more out of that if Zach had an Xbox, for instance, and also picked it up. Or, I don't know. It feels like a game that should be like shared almost rather than soloed.
Maybe.
I don't know. It has that feel to me. Dust and Elysian Tale. Really, really want to play that. Actually own it, so I will.
That also, I think, doesn't get... I think if you already own it, I don't think it can go on this list, really.
I should have played it before now, really, because it should be in this year's GOTYs for, like, things it could...
But there's a lot of things that we should have... Like, I should have played Mass Effect 3, and you should have played Borderlands 2, and or XCOM, or...
I sort of... Like, watching you play was enough to know what XCOM's about.
Yeah, but...
Journey?
Yeah.
I absolutely should have played that. Walking Dead, we really should have played that, given how much attention it's got.
Well, we're going to.
We're going to. Two of us have copies. I'm second guessing why I put this on the list. Now that I think we can forgive myself for not playing Final Fantasy 13 too.
Yeah.
Probably. I want to play it, but...
Did you finish 13?
I did finish 13.
Oh, cool.
I think that's the only Final Fantasy game I've finished. Yeah, so those are my nominations.
Well, I'm definitely going to play The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
It seems like the obvious one to me.
Yeah, I'm psyched about that. I think that's out of that list, that's my top.
Yeah, probably. Maybe Dishonored.
Maybe
Yeah,
Dishonored.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe Dishonored.
I mean, I've put that in the game we didn't care about list.
But yeah, maybe I should play it. I mean, I like that kind of game in theory.
Yeah, Deus Ex like.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely more for you two. I'm not interested in that in the slightest.
I mean, that mechanic of the sort of crazy
What, the blink?
blink thing, yeah, that's kind of cool idea. And I guess the Half-Life 2 designer stuff, like, of the city. Like, it's the guy that designed City 17.
Yeah, it's a little bit like... you can tell.
Yeah, you can tell.
But
yeah.
I think City 17 had a more coherent feel than what I've seen of that. I'm not sure I like it in Dishonored, how it looks.
Anyway, I'd rather play The Walking Dead. I think that's more important than Dishonored.
And there's Sleeping Dogs.
Oh yes, I forgot about that.
Stop that.
Sleeping Dogs.
You would be the person who should
That's open world.
I know.
It's GTA in Asia.
I know, but it's not GTA.
And it has Batman-esque fighting. It's like, should be the perfect game for you.
Yeah,
maybe that's my GTA. Maybe that's the GTA I should play as Saints Row and that.
Yeah, maybe they're more your speed than GTA itself.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm willing to be surprised by GTA 5, but
you won't be.
No,
it's going to be awesome.
That's a good one, actually. Sleepy Dogs. I've forgotten completely about that.
That DLC quick look was hilarious. Anyway,
Sleepy Dogs.
I'm still feeling The Walking Dead though on this.
Yeah, I think that out of everything, it really has to be that one. Because apparently that was the best thing ever.
Yeah.
In a lot of people's opinions.
Walking Dead wins the best game we really should have played, or the biggest game we really should have played, and we will. And I really want to get that. Yeah, do that soon.
Cool.
I'd intended perhaps of fitting an episode in before we did this, but didn't get the time. Alright, biggest games of the year we didn't care about at all.
What's on the list?
I don't think any of us were particularly bothered about the new Need for Speed.
For some reason.
It's like, I think Criterion have lost it, for me.
Oh shit,
it's like the multiplayer
we
looked
forgot,
really cool.
I forgot one off games we should have played.
Oh?
I should have played Forza Horizon. I quite like the look of that.
Yeah, I guess.
But anyway, not as good as The Walking Dead.
I guess.
But I kind of want to play
Forza Horizon is probably a game we should have played more than Forza 4, I guess. Because it was Forza 4 was... You played 3, didn't you?
Yeah.
And,
I might
4 was basically
Horizon.
an evolution of 3, so no real surprises. But Horizon seems quite different.
Anyway, games we don't care about.
Games we didn't care about. Need for Speed Most Wanted. We were sort of interested in, but then when it came out, we were like, just didn't even mention it.
Nah.
Yeah, none of us really paid attention.
It's supposed to be good, I guess. I see.
Yeah. Single player, not so much.
Right.
Multiplayer is where it's at.
All right. Interesting.
And so I guess that may hinge on whether you have a posse to play it with.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, Giant Bomb just gave it best multiplayer of the year, didn't they?
Yeah. Jeff just likes griefing. That's what it's about.
Right. Sports games in general. Apparently the new FIFA's really, really good, isn't it? This year's?
Yeah, if you exclude the Wii version.
Right, okay.
Which is last year's version again.
Yeah.
The World of Warcraft Mr. Pandaria expansion.
Obviously, because we don't play WoW.
Yeah, big old release though, but we really don't care. Dishonored.
I don't think that was more. I don't think that one specifically was as big as some of the other ones have been.
It's got pandas.
Yeah,
I don't know. Pandaria
that's sort of ironically interesting. I think like the previous one was probably more.
It was bigger than people expected it to be. I think. Pandaria.
Yeah, but I don't think it was.
Yeah,
there's a lot. Yeah, it's a big old expansion, really.
Mm.
Even by World of Warcraft standards, it sounds like it's huge. And they made some key changes even to like bits of interface and things like that. You know, they've changed some of how the game flow works. So it's not just an expansion really by that logic. But I've put Dishonored down here, but maybe we should cross that off given that you guys actually seem relatively interested,
yeah,
or feel that you should play it.
I probably should check it out.
Hitman Absolution. Kind of no,
yeah.
Just no. And apparently it's not very good.
Yeah, we weren't really interested in the Hitman games before that either.
No, but it was like it was the hyped up release of the year. Really, it was a lot of. They had TV ads and everything.
Boobs,
you know, it was,
again.
Did they have boobs?
Those nuns.
Nun boob.
Yeah, the stupid, sexy latex nuns.
Yeah, from the advertising.
Oh, right.
They really messed up a lot of the marketing for that game.
Yeah, because it was like,
my brother worked on the website, lol. But then they did that Facebook app thing that was a disaster.
You call make assassination hits on your friends, lol.
Yeah. They could be identified by their small boobs.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And Wii U in general. I'm not sure we really care about it. Okay, not yet. Not until Smash Bros. Comes out.
Does that count as a game we don't care about?
No, it's just a gaming thing, that is.
Yeah,
it's
everything on the Wii U.
Everything on Wii U. Do we really care?
There's got to be tons more on this list.
Yeah, those are the biggest ones.
Well, we didn't care about Soul Calibur 5.
I did. I actually want that. I just didn't get it because, you know, fighting games and me, I kind of wait till they're cheap. Which Soul Calibur 5 now is.
The same problem.
It's also like I really want to play Dead or Alive 5, but...
It's Diablo 3.
Actually, that's...
And sort of by extension, even Torchlight 2.
Yeah.
Because even though I got it and I started playing it, it really didn't hook me nearly as much as Torchlight 1. I don't know what they did wrong.
Interesting.
Maybe it would be better if we co-opted it or something.
Yeah, possibly. Now that you can.
Yeah.
Well, have you got it now?
No, I don't have it. But actually, can we count Diablo 3? Because Kippers was on the show over the summer and gave it raving review.
We don't care.
True. Happy Salad as an organisation doesn't care.
Wii U is bigger than any game, I guess. Wii U is probably bigger than, as it were.
If
this is biggest game, then
I
we
don't really
care
want
about.
one.
Well, that's quite a big deal then.
Yeah.
Maybe that should win.
And that last console generation, I wanted every console that came out.
And you owned them all.
And I owned them all.
So that
admittedly, there was a delay on the PS3. The PS3 was the one I ended up waiting for. Because, you know, I liked the hardware, I just didn't think there really was a killer app for it for a while. Until Wipeout came out.
No more Wipeouts ever.
I might still be. Just because they closed the studio doesn't mean the IP is dead. The next one just might be very different. I forget, I'm not sure Wipeout Fusion was made by the same team.
No idea.
The PS2 one. I don't know. That was a weird one, though.
It was a weird one.
Very unlike them. I might give this to the Wii U.
The Wii U.
The biggest gaming thing we just didn't care about at all.
Yep. Could care less.
Well, the Diablo 3 is pretty big. But it just hasn't had the impact, has it?
No.
Really?
In general, it doesn't
It came out, seemed to raise a big deal.
Everyone was playing it. Everyone was complaining that they couldn't play it because they couldn't get into it.
Yeah, because of the connection thing.
And then...
Everyone was playing it, everyone was talking about it, but maybe 2 months later, nothing's been said. No one cares anymore. I guess there'll be that hardcore community that likes Diablo 2, I guess, that will...
Well, assume they like Diablo 3.
Yeah, I guess.
Which they probably don't. They probably still like Diablo 2.
Alright.
And I totally forgot a really old topic here. We go all the way back to the disappointing things.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to mention that one of the other super disappointing things was the retardedly fucked up release of Scribblenauts Unlimited.
Oh, what was messed up about that?
The fact that it doesn't come out in Europe until like sometime in 2013, like
really?
March.
But the PC,
but it comes out in Australia. It's already out.
But
you can buy it on Steam.
you can buy the PC version on Steam now.
No, you can't. There's a pre-purchase.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh right.
Oh shit.
And it's literally only just appeared on Steam now. Like when the actual release date, which was like 28th of November, I think, was the Australian one.
Pretty close to the Wii U launch.
Yeah. 28th of November was the Australian one, and it wasn't on Steam then. And it was like, where is it? Where's this version? But it doesn't come out until March or something.
Huh.
For some reason.
So I guess
unspecified reason, in fact, because they didn't actually say.
I guess that affects us for the Wii U copy as well?
Yeah.
And the 3DS copy, I suppose, as well? Yeah.
I don't know about the 3DS one. That's slightly different, because that actually came out before the Wii U one as well in American release dates. Yeah. That was like a month before that.
Oh, really? Quite some time then.
Yeah, or at least a couple of weeks. I can't actually remember. But sometime. So yeah, that was really, really weird. And it's the fact that they don't seem to have given out any reasoning. It's just like, it was like literally pretty much the day the Wii U came out and it came out on the Wii U. Everyone was just expecting it to turn up for Europe with the Wii U, but then it didn't.
Shit.
And they were just like, no comment. It can't be localization because they just say if it was just localization.
Yeah. That is weird.
Especially considering, and also because of the Australian one, where it's like, that's even PAL, so it's not that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Unless I don't know, Ninty could have been the guys, but they were a bit funny with Europe localization because of they've made mistakes before with like how words
the spastic train.
Yeah, the spastic train.
I suppose.
From Mario Party 8.
It is a game based a lot on words.
And in fairness, there's been since then there's been a number of games that have had quite lofty delays. Well, presumably while Ninty just go over every line of dialogue in the localization with a dog that can read or something, given the speed that it happens.
Right.
It's pretty disappointing, but I stand by our original.
Yeah, I didn't think that was going to win. So.
No. I forget what we did for that, but go back and listen to it.
Apparently.
Yeah. I'm not marking what's what.
So Wii U then, for a thing we don't care about.
Wii U, the biggest thing we sort of don't really care about. Woo! Which is a shame. But I will care about when Smash Bros. Comes out.
Or will you?
Next category is...
You might not care about the Wii U, you might just have to give it.
Yeah,
you might still not care.
I might not care for the Wii U, it's just that it has that game.
Yep.
Which is incredible.
It's inevitable. It is your destiny.
It is now time. Well, it's not quite yet time.
Isn't it?
There's one less from time.
It's the most time spent...
It's the Zachary Burgess most time spent in a game award.
We can't do this because, as we found out when we looked at my Steam, somehow, there's like Borderlands 2, obviously, and Guild Wars 2 have been quite long periods of time. But that's like since October or September, basically. That's only in that last 4 months of the year. It's like, what was I even doing for the rest of the year?
That's a very good question.
I have no idea.
You can go back and look, can't you?
Minecraft or Terraria or Civ? You played Civ for a bit.
No, it wasn't any of those.
We've got a recording of what you've been playing every 2 weeks.
You could go look at those, but it's just like, I can't... You'd think I'd remember. But the fact that there's been... And especially because it's like, I wasn't playing Mass Effect 3.
That's true, you said you weren't.
So it's like, what was I doing?
I don't know, man.
So there you go. And even... And in any case, regardless of that, it probably wasn't something that came out this year. Because I went through that list and looked at all the things I played this year.
I don't think it was, given looking at the list of everything we've tagged on the website.
Yeah, so probably... If we had to say what would win this category, it would be Guild Wars 2, just because that would be the longest.
There we go. That will have to do.
So Guild Wars, I think.
Yeah.
Guild Wars 2 wins the Zachary Burgess Most Time Sunk Award.
It is an MMO, so it makes sense.
Yep. It deserves it too. It's a damn good game.
It's a good game.
Which leads us to the Game of the Year! We had a fucking long discussion about this last time.
I don't think it's going to be as long this time.
No, we've discussed most of the key points of several of these games.
I don't even know.
There is one game that we haven't mentioned virtually at all so far, which is XCOM.
Which is on the list, yeah, XCOM. It's a damn fine game.
Yep.
Even if I've only seen like the first couple of hours of it.
Yeah. It does kind of... I guess that is a sort of a problem of it, that it does kind of...
That's a hard one to judge, isn't it? Because you have to you have to put the time in, I think.
Well, yeah, and it does sort of have it's not as bad as it was in the original XCOM, but it has the same sort of problem where there's just like, there's a point where maybe you've done all the research and then you're just grinding out missions while you're waiting for something to happen that will allow you to move on to the next part of the story.
Okay. So
it's not as bad as it was in the original XCOM though, where it's like everything where you're training up your psi soldiers, it's like, wait a month to see if they actually have psi powers, and then you actually have to take them on missions to train up the psi powers.
Right. So
it's slightly less bad than that this time.
Less grindy.
Yeah. Actually, I don't think I...
Can it still be a grind if you play well, then, is what you mean? Like, and there's some sort of time...
Yeah, it's like if you've...
Oh,
if you've
landline. What
if you've exploited your resources...
Hang on. We better let this bastard ring and... Like,
really?
Yeah.
Stare disapprovingly at it?
Yeah, definitely.
Who is it?
External call.
Well, yeah. No shit.
Read the number from here.
Someone's calling from inside the house.
So now I can cut this out, so you can carry on your sentence in the right form.
But you're not gonna.
No,
probably not.
So anyway, yeah, I think in my game of XCOM, I don't think I actually had to grind at all. I think that was just really sort of luck, because it has basically... Well, it's not really a spoiler to say that there's the same thing where you get the psi soldiers and you have to put them into training to find out whether they have psi powers or not.
Yeah.
But coincidentally, the first person I put in had the best psi level, like the highest psi level, and that's basically what you need to progress.
Okay, fair enough.
And then it turned out that was really lucky, because I put basically all the rest of my soldiers in there, and only like one other person had any psi powers. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
So you're one dude.
Yeah, it was basically my highest ranked person. So I think not coincidentally, because it's to do with willpower or whatever.
Right. So in the best scenario, it can actually work out quite nicely, but...
Well, but the trouble with that is that in the best scenario where that happened and I got like the guy straight away, that almost made it seem too fast. It was like progressing the story too quickly, because I didn't have any period between finding the first psychic soldier and immediately being able to go to the thing that required the best psychic.
Obviously, so you were a little bit screwed because the story was in front of... The progression was in front of where you actually were, I guess, because you hadn't ground up your troops. Or...
Well, it's because...
ground up.
It's because I just found someone who was really good at psychic. I didn't have to, like... train up a shitter. It was already like my highest ranked soldier, and then I just went on like 2 missions and leveled up their psychic powers to maximum as well, and that was all you needed to do. Whereas if it had been like a shitty rookie had been the one person in my base who was psychically trained, I would have needed to grind up their rank as well.
Right, yeah.
To actually make them better.
So what do you think of the... Well, would you reckon XCOM is strong enough on its own for the revival of that genre? Like a turn-based...
I don't think it's going to lead to a revival of the genre. I mean, it's good by itself. It's just like Civilization. It's not like that creates tons of spin-offs or anything.
Well, I guess not. But Civ stayed alive, I think, for a reason.
Yeah.
You know,
XCOM theoretically could have stayed alive.
Well, maybe XCOM is tapping into the same people that play Civ, I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
But,
probably Frax's times.
Yeah, exactly. The one person who makes that kind of game.
Yeah, I guess. I'm glad it exists, because it is... I really liked what I saw, and I'm looking forward to playing it.
Yeah.
And I know, I've got a copy now, so...
And you've got Xbox controllers, that's always important.
Is it better on the Xbox controller, you think?
I think probably. It's just more sort of...
You've still got one of mine.
Yeah, I was using it.
Yeah.
It's just sort of more... There's a few... Well, they tried to fix various sort of view shifting problems to do with like selecting the correct tile and stuff. But I think because of the way with the Xbox you're just like dragging a line out from your character to where you want to go, that makes it much more reliable than clicking on your character and then moving the mouse cursor to where you want to go and having to have the game detect where you're actually pointing. It's the trouble with multiple levels,
I guess, yeah.
Where you're pointing at where you want to go to the square that's on a ledge rather than the square that's below it but is still in line with it because of the isometric perspective, and then the cursor just freaks out and stuff.
Okay, I see your point.
It's much easier just to drag out and get to the right place.
I'll try both, see what I prefer.
Cool.
And also...
Is there consistency in, like, because that power selection was a bit weird as well, because they changed what buttons...
Well, that's
what
just
powers. Is that still messed up on the controller? Or?
Well, I mean, in the controller, you're just using the bumpers to go through them, so I guess you...
Oh, I see. So you pick them, like,
yeah,
and then go button.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rather than having a number key. So that's sort of... doesn't make it. It's still randomly ordered, but I guess you're always having to.
I guess it forces you to look at the list.
You're always having to look at it to pay attention to what you've actually got selected.
So that might actually work out better as well.
Yeah.
XCOM then, hell of a game. There's a good question with that, actually. I wonder if that's, like, could that game have been done prior to now? Because I'm not sure it really needed, like, modern tech to make, if you know what I mean.
No.
It's like... But it just seems surprisingly well-timed in the market. Like, or could it have flourished if it was released, like, last year or the year before?
Sure.
I think it probably could have.
It probably could have. But, I mean, maybe... This is, like, the whole idea of the XCOM first-person shooter as well. Just sort of coming out around, building up towards that at the same time.
Yeah, maybe. I wonder if that will get... Who's in charge of that?
No idea.
I hope it's not THQ.
I wonder if that'll ever come out.
Yeah, exactly.
That might have been Act.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, it was just a conspiracy.
Just a ruse.
They were just faking a first-person shooter to make everyone pissed off so they'd like the actual XCOM more.
It's a great idea, actually.
Collusion.
It's a great idea, actually. If that's how it actually plays out, then kudos to them.
There's E3 demos for that thing.
You could make an E3 demo of a first-person shooter, and probably not that difficult.
Well, it could be
especially
like
if it's Unreal Engine.
Well, it could be like that. Do you remember for the marketing for Bulletstorm, they made that fake Call of Duty game, Duty Calls or something? It was terrible, but it was intentionally terrible, and it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
It was a great marketing idea. Oh, I've been shot. I'm going to stumble around for a bit. That was great. So yeah, XCOM, very worthy nominee. I've also got Mass Effect 3, but it is a great game. I think, you know, in general, it is a great accomplishment.
I think it'd be sad if it wasn't Game of the Year.
Yeah, I think I find it hard to get past the DLC problem.
Yeah,
I can forgive the slightly crappy ending because for what I've seen, it's not, for me it was
fine.
Even the unextended version doesn't seem that bad.
The game as a whole, I think, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. It's just not as great as the previous one.
No, there's a story thing I think there. That, you know, perhaps it's the diamond problem. You know, all had to come back into some way new, and perhaps your previous things do act in the storyline in the journey, don't they? They can act quite heavily as to what happens in certain places, but maybe it's because your actions didn't cause the payoff, if you know what I mean. That made it feel kind of bad because it's like everyone sort of had the same experience at the end to an extent. You know, or it was based on that number that wasn't really related to your personality of play, which is what the series was known for.
Indeed. Yes, player agency.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the best that the game has been mechanically, even if I did have some glitches with the constantly Shepard wanting to go left, but after using powers, it's like, fucking hell, I don't want to get out of cover, you bastard. Yeah, I like the world. I like the story, that kind of thing. I don't think it deserved the backlash that it got.
No, it definitely didn't.
But I would say XCOM's a better game.
Sure.
Than you know, like, and that might be biased because it's a new IP, perhaps. What? New IP.
One of the oldest IPs.
IP revival. You know, not something we've seen for a very long time. And it works really well. So my other I've got 4 more nominees here. Guild Wars 2.
Yeah.
Because in actual fact, that is a phenomenal game. We've criticised it for some of its flaws. So like, I'm not a massive fan of the jumping puzzles, but they do add something.
Yeah.
I don't think they're executed particularly well, but
it's like
it's better that they're there than if they weren't.
It's a nice reason to explore.
Yeah, exactly. It's surprising how much just adding jump adds to that game.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Not that you ever use it apart from jumping. It's not like it's a combat mechanic, really.
No, it doesn't really have much of an effect. It's a shame in a way.
Well, I mean, there's maneuverability, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, you can jump
You could
Up or down.
get out of a fight, I suppose, if you jumped up certain ledges. But
Or the classic jumping off cliffs technique.
yeah,
Which I guess doesn't technically need a jump, but it doesn't need to allow you to fall, which is sort of inherent to having it jumping.
yeah, a proper sort of restriction system as to where you can and can't go, rather than just arbitrary, you can't step off ledges type thing.
Yeah.
Or this steep is made of this slope is made of a slightly different rock texture. You can't walk on that. That kind of thing. But the structure of the quests, the sort of, I think it gets weaker in the middle, as we've been discovering. Just because of it, that game thrives on player population.
Well,
And I feel that it was much better in the Asura starting area than it's been anywhere else that we've encountered.
did we really have that much of groups going around there, though? I don't know.
Well, then the events happened, they were fucking enormous.
Well, the big ones, yeah, obviously.
So it's just even every event had tons of people doing them, like towards the start, and that's just because there's loads of people there. I think it's got less busy as we've gone through it, and that doesn't. And I suppose that was, that's to be expected. I guess that's the mechanics of the game.
And also because we were starting late, I guess.
Yeah, maybe people have pushed through that area, and now they have no need to actually be in those areas.
Yeah.
And noobs are all in the starting areas because they then may give up on the game at that point because the time investment is quite large.
And because it's like the leveling is just like you need the whole of the starting area just to get that first 15 levels, but then once it starts moving you into the other areas, you don't necessarily have to stick around in them. You can just mainline through them.
I mean, it has,
because we did lots of exploration, which isn't
Yeah, I guess
you
that
don't
game
have to complete areas nearly as much.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that game's one of the groundbreaking things about that game. I think is your ability to basically to progress through it kind of how you want, with the possible exception of the story bits.
Yeah.
You can level up if you wanted to. You could just go to PvP and just play that, really.
Yeah.
And you still level up from it. You'll probably do it a lot slower than if you played through the main campaign, but you can do it. And the fact that your character is tied to both worlds now is nice, rather than having separate entities for the two. Although that's not exactly groundbreaking, but it's nice that it's there. As I say, I like the emergent events, because it gets rid of the looking for group problem.
Yeah.
Except for obviously the areas where looking for group is a good idea.
Well,
which they have
the
as
5-man dungeons, they have to do that.
Which they have as well. So, best of both worlds. It's a fantastic game. I still have my same MMO problems with some things. Like, I wish there was a little more variation in the mission types that it can give you. And I kind of wish there were more of those big fuck-off bosses. Because there hasn't been nearly as many of those as I would like.
Well,
they were, to be honest, the ones we've come across, they're cool.
Well, we haven't been actively seeking them out. We haven't been sticking around in the zones to try.
I'm not sure that. The big boss fights we've had weren't that colossal. I guess there was the Centaur Man, who was basically just a slightly bigger centaur.
Yeah,
and the multi-staged fight that involved.
Well, yeah, I mean that sort of is like the really huge bosses are not actually really that much harder than the small but champion grade bosses. It's just that they're big.
But it is the game that I've played more than anything else this year. And it's an MMO.
Well, yeah. But you didn't pay, it's not like monthly pay, that's the other thing.
No, and their pricing model is perfect for me as well.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to pay more up front for a game that I will play longer. And don't feel forced to play.
Yeah.
I'll play it because I want to play it, and Guild Wars 2 succeeds.
And of course, you can theoretically almost solo it.
Well, yeah, you can solo most of it, and the events stuff. The fact that they're trying to keep regular events running now will keep it interesting.
Yeah,
for people who are still in the world. It's a phenomenal package, really good, and it's enormous. Let's not forget that it is enormous.
Yeah.
Oh, my throat's starting to go again. Fez, I think, is up there.
Yep.
It's a unique experience, and I wonder if it will happen again for a while.
Probably not.
If you know what I mean. There's nothing like it.
And won't be.
Probably won't be, and maybe it can't be done again for a while. So it's that has to be up there. It's hard to explain, really. It's the feelings that game gave you as you did things and discovered things, and it was just nice to even the supposedly mundane stuff about that game. Just traversing the world was nice.
Yeah.
Even if it was kind of archaic in its design in places, where it's like, oh shit, I've got to go through all these rooms a bit Metroid style to get to the bit we're interested in, and oh shit, there's a really annoying room on the route. You know, it never really got you down because you just liked the world, except for some of there's the room with the rotating trees and was it the ones where the sort of timed puzzles were kind of annoying.
Yeah, but there was a lot of shortcuts and teleports and stuff to help with that.
It'd be better if they were mapped.
Well, especially the shortcuts.
Yeah.
The teleports made sense. It was like at the end of the branch, you just go back to the central point, and that was really helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's a hell of a game. And there's no shame in not finishing it, like finishing everything that game has to offer, because that shit gets fucked up towards the end. Really hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just how deep that rabbit hole goes. It's amazing. There's stuff hidden in the music, for fuck's sake, in that game. If you really want to get into it, there's like some of the sounds or some of the bits of tunes have hidden messages, kind of like an ARG sort of thing.
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. It's a bit ARG-like in places.
Yeah. And the fact that the music's incredible as well. It's just the whole package for me. Loved it. Really loved it. Halo 4, I really enjoyed a lot, has to be said, and the multiplayer is personally I think it's my favourite it's ever been. I don't think it would ever have that same place in my heart as Halo 2 did, but that was because of circumstance.
Yeah.
But for a gameplay and enjoyment level, like on its own, I think Halo 4 stands as possibly my favourite console multiplayer of all time. Multiplayer shooter, let's say, because Smash Brothers may win best console multiplayer of all time for me. But
surely Mario Tennis on there.
Mario Tennis is pretty good.
It's my favourite. Anyway,
I saw Mario Tennis on 3DS as a side note. It's the same game. Woo! Good news, everyone.
Is it though, or is it more like the GameCube?
It's more like the GameCube one, but you can turn that shit off. So Halo 4, story stuff I think will pull it down for being a winner for me. Because those are, as I said, we said earlier, those decisions just seem really dumb. Why would they do that? Like, why take this? I suppose it avoids the problem in a way that, maybe people don't want them fucking with the universe too much. It's like, well, what can you possibly do with the story? Let's not tell it. I've put Call of Duty up there as well. It's like, again, not something I expected to be, but just how much I've liked that game has surprised me. Maybe I should have put that in the surprise category, but
didn't you?
No, I didn't. I don't think it was as surprising as some of the other things.
No,
but it's a hell of a game. It's a really fun campaign. There's a couple, again, its foibles are with what it tries to do new in places. Like, the branching storyline is fantastic, but its strategy attempt is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really terrible. And the multiplayer is great. Absolutely great. Not quite Halo great, but great. It's a hard package to fault, really. Apart from perhaps zombie mode, which I just don't like, really. I've tried to like it. I don't. But there must be something in it for people to... that's why some people buy that game. It's for the zombie mode.
Crazy people.
As weird as it is to us. So yeah, those are my nominations. I want to know if you guys have got some more. Like,
I guess I'll add Far Cry 3. I mean, as probably the best game I've played this year, but I wouldn't have thought it would beat your stuff.
Why don't you rave about Max Payne as well?
I like Max Payne, but I don't think it's a Game of the Year contender.
Is it because of the mechanics? Like, is it mechanically slightly odd? Or is it just because it's not Max Payne, really, in terms of how it...
Maybe, yeah. I mean, the mechanics are good, but they're not as Max Payne-y. I definitely found myself behind cover going into bullet time to get headshots rather than like doing crazy John Woo.
Yeah, see, I want to do the dodging.
Yeah,
I want to jump about like a mad fucker. That's what that game
I
is
didn't
for
do
me.
much of that, but it didn't. I mean, I thought it was a really good game, but I wouldn't say it's a game of the year contender. Whereas Far Cry is just really, really fun. But I worry again, like I said, that I just like it because it's all the stuff I like just shoved into one game. It definitely has problems, like
I just thought of something we should have mentioned a while back in the graphics aesthetic. Mark of the Ninja.
Oh, right, yeah.
Notable mention. I'm not sure. I'd still stand by our decision, but notable mention.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. So that'd probably be the... I would say it had more of a draw for me. Far Cry 3 has definitely tons more of a draw for me than Max Payne 3 did. So I'm enjoying that probably more. So I'd say it's a better game.
Far Cry 3.
And probably the best game I've played this year. But I don't think it's probably not as good as... Well, it's hard to say because it's so much fun, but it's probably not as good as XCOM or something like that.
We might struggle with this one because you haven't had much exposure to... I think XCOM, Guild Wars and Fez are my top 3.
Yeah, I think
I would be happy with any one of those getting it.
Well, it depends what Zach... Because Zach's played all of those, right?
Zach has played all 3 of those.
So it depends what his favourite game of the year is.
I might be with you on the Far Cry comedy value, but
it's
not played it.
If all you want is comedy value, you're probably better off with Just Cause 2.
Okay.
I mean, it's not total comedy all the time. It's just a nice mix of gameplay in a nice open world. It's shit that I like.
It might be one of those ones that I might enjoy, but don't want to pay much for.
Yeah, that is. It does hinge on what Zach's favourite game is, I think, quite heavily. Like, what are you? Do you want to do XCOM versus Guild Wars, and then XCOM versus or Guild Wars versus?
What's our comparators here? Because they're 3 very different games.
Yeah.
Is there any need for Borderlands 2 to be mentioned? Really,
don't think so.
I don't think it's a contender. It's a great. I
mean, do you think it's better than any one of those 3 games? Fez, XCOM?
Not really.
No,
okay,
it's just not.
It's probably up there, I think, because it's a solid package.
Sure, but it's not a contender.
But I don't think I've played enough of it to really weigh in on that too much. But from what I've seen, it's still Borderlands, and Borderlands 1 was great.
Yeah.
So.
Fez, XCOM, and Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2 versus XCOM. Zach.
This is the dumb part.
Yeah, this is the dumb part. How do we compare 2 really disparate things?
I mean, how many times have you played through XCOM? Twice.
No, I didn't even finish
Not
the
even
second
twice. You're not as in.
But that was because of the patch issue, where because of the various bugs like the tanks that didn't spawn properly and all that. And when I got to the point where I could build the tanks, I was like, well, I know if I do this, it'll probably bug out. So I was waiting for the patch.
Right.
It was the classic. It was basically what Firaxis does, like with Civ, whereas
they put it out.
There's a load of patches that actually fix a lot of important things at some point.
Yeah,
but those have come, haven't they?
Well, one of them has for XCOM. I don't actually know if they did a second patch.
Like the tank stuff is.
Yeah, the tank stuff got fixed, but it was the teleporting enemies bug was the one that didn't get fixed in that patch, which was also kind of annoying. Never actually managed to totally screw me over, but it's a dangerous thing to have go wrong.
Just don't play in Iron Mode until they sort that. Basically.
Well, yeah, that was what I did on the second.
Yeah, you were playing Iron Mode, weren't you?
Well, on the first.
Yeah.
I think I was.
I think I'd quite like to play with the Iron Mode discipline through that, but just not put it in Iron Mode lest something fuck up.
Yeah, exactly.
But.
So yeah, that was why I stopped playing it, basically. Because I was waiting for that patch, and then when it came, I was
so it wasn't a reflection on how arsed you were?
No. But
you're just so maybe it's a
bad point in itself.
Yeah,
it was that
it had problems. Yeah,
but as people were saying at the time, a lot of people didn't seem to run into the bugs nearly as much as some people.
Yeah,
which means I'll get all of them.
Yeah, probably.
My machine does that.
It brings it out.
Yeah,
but at least you'll have the patches. So theoretically, you'll at least not have the tank bug.
That's true. I'll research whether the second one came out.
Yeah, I should actually look at that again. I can at least say I didn't notice it updating on Steam, which is normally how you tell.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and what happens on my machine, if you've installed a game to my machine but I'm not logged in, it will say it's updating and not download anything.
Yeah.
So, and I haven't had that on my list.
Yeah.
So, even though you've not, it's not down, either it downloaded when you logged into my machine, or so yeah.
Yeah.
But do you prefer Guild Wars as a game?
It gets its hooks in you, doesn't it, Guild Wars?
Yeah.
If you,
I've played a lot more of it than you.
If the numbers go up.
Well, that's always important.
if they took both of if I deinstalled both from your system and said you could only have one back, which one would you have?
Guild Wars is nice, I think, because
it's long term.
Yeah.
It's a long term investment.
The progression is nice in Guild Wars as well. They've got that right because it always feels like the same amount of time between levels, and maybe it is. You know what I mean? It's like there's always something to look forward to.
Yeah.
I don't know quite how that feeling stays with you when you reach 80.
Well, we have kind of topped out at where it matters now because we've basically had enough skill points to get what we want out of the skill trees.
Yeah.
So there's no it's not like leveling up isn't matters any longer.
There's still the
really.
trade stuff. But...
Well, yeah, but we're almost done. You know, when you get the last tier of the trait trees, you're still only basically choosing one, aren't you?
Hmm.
Well, because you only have enough points. You only have 70 points, so you can either have one of them to maximum and two of them to 20, or two of them to maximum, one of them to 10.
Yeah.
So it's still not even that much of a choice at that point. And by the time that happens, you already basically know what you're doing. You know if you're going precision or if you're going all-out damage or whatever.
Yeah, I guess. You must have had a plan up to that point.
Not that you can't change it.
No.
Because that's kind of the whole point of that trait tree being able to respec it whenever you want.
It just costs quite a lot of money to do so, doesn't it?
Not that
like
much.
if we were to buy another master book.
You don't have to buy the book again.
Oh.
You can just talk to the trainer and respec.
Oh, you're just like, okay, fair enough.
It still costs some money, but not nearly as much.
Not as much as the book. Oh, okay. Cool.
That's what I did with my assassin.
Yeah, I'd rather not fuck that up.
But it also depends on the class. Because you're basically playing the same engineer I did, because it's the obvious route.
Yeah, it is. Guns, you want critical hits on precision. That seems pretty good. I can stay afire and do more damage.
And you get those specific bonuses on the precision tree that give you even more stuff on criticals, which is the whole point of the precision tree. It just seems to be self-enforcing.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But yeah, with the assassin, when I looked at all the different trait options for the assassin trees, I didn't really see any that I particularly wanted, which made it a bit more of a difficult choice.
Well, it's like every facet of Guild Wars really breaks the mold slightly. Even the crafting system is better, I think, than anything that's come before.
Yeah. Although,
I mean, it's flawed in places because you hit the wall on occasion.
Well, it's also a case of well, the main problem with it is that a lot of the time you're not actually crafting anything you want.
That's true. You never actually. That's a very.
It's basically the whole point of the crafting tree is to get to level 400, so you can make the elite items, which are the ones that actually matter.
Yeah.
The rest of it is almost entirely irrelevant.
Yeah, by the time you get
apart from the food, of course.
Yeah, food is a good tree. The dueling has proved to be a good tree.
Yeah, that more or less keeps up with you.
Yeah,
certainly the weapon generating
Huntsman has been useless. Yeah, the weapon generator. You always generate something that's just way crapper than stuff you've just found on the floor, which I've always found kind of weird.
Yeah,
it's this slug has puked up an awesome gun. I can't make that shit.
And then the other problem with it, of course, is that even though it's a nice crafting system, it's not really got any. There's not really any options. I mean, you get the special crafting recipes that you can find at the karma vendors or whatever that you can make special one-off items. But the chances of those being relevant to you and wanting to use them is equally low. But all the rest of the time, it's just like, I'm going to make a bronze gun, and I'm going to make a copy of it with each of the individual inscriptions so I can learn the recipes and get maximum experience out of it. That's all that actually matters.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. That's fine. But it is another one of those different things about Guild Wars.
Yeah. I'm struggling really because I think I may have had the best moments of gaming for me in the year with Fez.
Yeah.
It's like, we had some shit with Fez, and I think we're like...
Well, we had the patch shit, that was the big one.
And you know what, this is becoming a bit of a theme, isn't it? It's like, every game on this list there's been some shit about, really. Like XCOM's bugs.
Yeah.
Guild Wars, well, for me, has had some significant bugs at times.
Yeah, but...
I mean, the shit with the Lost Shores event, where I couldn't get back in.
But at least they gave you the shit.
Crashed. But I mean, at least they then kept good to their word.
And I got it again for some reason, which was a bonus.
You bastard. And Fez, we hit the patch bug.
Yeah.
Where they patched the game to fix some crashes, but we lost our save, which was quite irritating.
Good old save compatibility bugs.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
Well, the thing is, what was the quote? That it only affects 1% of people? Great. So, yeah, we were the one on that. Which naturally, whenever you're the one, you severely start to doubt that stat.
Yeah.
But then again, we pretty much, because we knew everything, we just sort of caught up to where we were in an evening, in like a few hours, rather than having to do the several more hours it took us to get to that point before.
It'd be like if I ever got round to playing Sadie Twisted Shadow Planet again, because I got basically all the way through the game before it fucked up the save.
Oh, yeah.
I'd already know what to do and where to go.
You can blitz through it, yeah. So I'm struggling. I am to sort of decipher. I think XCOM is great.
Yeah.
But for me, the other two have a stronger feeling. And it's like... And I'm torn between them, because Guild Wars is the game I'm going to go back to.
Yeah.
But I think
Fez was one off.
Fez had more of an emotional response.
Yeah.
So I'm really torn.
Dan's not going to help, even though he's now returned.
What's Zeg's opinion?
We're still talking about those three, apart from probably not XCOM.
Yeah, I think we've...
really?
I think we've ruled out XCOM.
So it's Fez versus Guild Wars.
Because XCOM is great, but it's essentially a modernisation of a game that's already been done.
Yeah, I can see that. I was thinking that actually we should have put it on the... the HD
the best remake.
Yeah, it's like Black Mesa versus XCOM. I think XCOM wins that one.
Maybe.
I don't think you could call it a remake as such.
No,
because there's a lot of other stuff that fits in that category.
I think it's more of a sequel than a remake.
I guess.
If you're going to go down that route.
So we're Fez versus Guild Wars.
Fez versus Guild Wars, yeah.
Oh god, that's hard.
Yeah, tell me about it. I mean, the argument... I know you just disappeared for a second, if viewers didn't know, or listeners...
People didn't notice that no one was talking in the middle.
The argument we have is that I think Guild Wars breaks a lot of molds in the MMO and pushes it in a direction that the MMO needs.
And that Rob likes. That also helps.
I agree.
And it's a technically great game, and it draws me in. It has that draw. I talk about the draw quite a lot, and that has it.
I think it's just funny how Guild Wars 2 has completely shown up the Old Republic. Like, it's totally possible. Just innovate. Don't just slavishly copy World of Warcraft, and you can make an awesome MMO.
Yeah.
Just idiots. Just come on. Just do something cool.
It's really
and lo, they did. And
they had
awesome.
And they had the whole Star Wars universe to work with.
Yeah.
And they totally screwed it.
That's the worst thing about that game, isn't it? Maybe that should have been... Oh, that was last year, I guess.
Yeah. That wasn't this year.
Total disaster.
Yeah,
but
worrying trend. It went free.
But Guild Wars 2 is just a great pricing model, great innovation in the game, great story stuff. Even
I mean, it's like free. They've got a free to play model in there, really, haven't they? For people who want more out of it, they can put more money in.
Yeah.
But if you don't, the upfront price is reasonable,
and you don't really get very much by paying. I mean, there's cosmetic stuff, obviously.
Yeah. It's cosmetic. And
you do get, I mean, theoretically, the one thing that...
Can you do cash for gold?
Well, yeah, because it's got that two-way trade system.
Cash for gold.
But there's the only real thing that I can think of that definitely changes is buying the Black Line keys. Because those boxes can contain, like, boosters and shit.
Oh, yeah.
So that does actually give you a slight pay for advantage, but... Not anything extreme.
No, you can only use one of those at a time, and those boosters can occasionally be found through progression.
Or you could just buy the boosters. I guess those are in the store as well.
In-game money. The argument was that Guild Wars 2 is a technically great game. And has the draw, but we think Fez may have caused the bigger emotional response.
Yeah.
Which, in itself, I will look back and fondly remember Fez for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
It was special. And maybe it's more special because of its design and because it can't really be repeated anytime soon.
Yeah.
It's hard to compare something. It's another case of
really
scope, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a really fucking tricky problem.
Fez has such a narrow... It's brilliant, but it has such a narrow scope. And an MMO has such a massive, ridiculous scope. You know what I mean?
And it's executed so well in Guild Wars.
And it's so hard to get right, MMOs.
I think I want to give it to Guild Wars.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling Guild Wars too.
But... with
honourable
very honourable mention. But it's not been as easy this year as the last couple, I don't think, because what was it, Mass Effect 2 and Portal 2, we basically kind of landed on...
I suppose. I mean, for me, I've disagreed with ones in the past to personally. Like, I preferred Red Dead to Mass Effect 2, I think. Was that right? Back then?
Yeah, I guess I was... And I suppose that may have been because I hadn't yet played it. You know, posthumously, we could really give Red Dead that one, probably, because it was damn good.
But Portal 2!
But that wasn't the same year, was it?
Yeah, that's the following year. So that's okay, we agreed on that.
Portal 2's fine, yeah.
So we've decided anyway. Guild Wars 2 official Happy Salad Game of the Year 2012. Woo! And even I might get that, maybe. I don't know.
Oh man, that would be great if you did.
Well, we'd have to start new characters.
Well, and we'd have to get him online, which is always seems to be the trickier problem.
It'd be easier if I had Guild Wars 2.
Would it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd be more fused.
You'd have to be. What was it, 70 hours in it?
Yeah,
and we're not through a single character, or that kind of stuff.
Well, I'll see how I go. Anyway, but I'm totally happy with that. That's the good results. Yeah. I didn't see that coming actually, but it makes total sense. I think it's correct.
I
think maybe one of the reasons for not seeing it coming is like no one else has given that. Like, no, I haven't seen any other like Game of the Year list that have even really mentioned it.
It's one best MMO from Refused Places.
Well, yeah, okay. In the MMO category, I expect it's a bit of a walkover.
Well, I guess there's been a few entries. You know, Pandaria is nothing to be sniffed at, and there's been The Secret World, which was an interesting but not very popular, as it turned out, MMO variant. The problem with Secret World was that it was what it changed. It was good at what it then fell back on, like the Old Republic. Was a bit samey, yeah. So there.
Coolio.
Yeah, I guess in that category, yeah. There is no other. There's no contest there.
Right, okay, that's our third annual Game of the Year.
GOTY's over.
Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. Zach will probably do a write-up, maybe.
Maybe.
Giant Bomb.
Like I did last year.
But, it's pretty useful for us, let alone anyone else.
Stay tuned to Happy Salad for more podcasts, including more Far Cry 3, various...
all those other games.
So much coming up. Hell yeah. Street Fighter Cross Tekken is coming up.
I finally played Legend of Grimrock.
And a bunch of video things on our Happy Salad YouTube channel.
Walking Dead, I'm going to play, and I'm going to start playing Crysis as well.
Is it called the SaladCast?
Yes.
The SaladCast is our YouTube channel.
Several videos still waiting to go up on there.
Indeed. Cool. Thanks for joining us. I will catch you next time.
Peace out, yo!
Peace out.
Keep saying bye until I
Bye.
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 Bye.